going to read a story today about our sister Judith, the original Sister Souljah. And we have, brothers who study and read things, but, like I say, we get together and we'll share stuff that we read, and this is something that's been meaning to talk to and teach, read this story for a little while now, and I thank the Lord that we, got it done. What we're going to read, I only have, this is the whole class, because we're going to read this story out of the Apocrypha. The only thing that I have written down in my notes are just some clarifications, because this story is written in Greek. So there's going to be some changes in the names from what we commonly know them as being in the Old Testament. So it's just I'm just going to clarify a few things, and we're going to keep this moving. If anybody, we got 16 chapters to get through, but if anybody got any questions about anything that you need to discuss first, we'll hit on those. But if not, we will get rolling. This is a very powerful story that I have not forgotten her since I read this the first time, and I've been wanting to bring this out so that we could all see in times of trouble that we all face individually in all our lives, that this is also, hey, look upon what your forefathers and foremothers went through and gain strength. You see the things that they go through, compare them to what you're going through, and see how what you're going through don't compare to what they're going through, what they went through, and persevered because of their faith. Because of their faith, we're going to see people's faith get weak. And we're going to see others whose faith is strong and got through this. So, if we don't have anything to go over, we're going to get started right now and get cracking in this story. Yeah. All right, let's get it done. So this story is in the Apocrypha of Judith, the King James Bible, the 1611. And let's get cracking.
All right, the original Sister Souljah, huh?
Yep.
This was Harriet Tubman. You feel me? Before Harriet Tubman, thousands of years ago.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? A situation where a lot of men were weak in the paps, meaning they had lost faith. A lot of men was weak. You understand? This is time of sisters. Most I put the spirit on the sister to stand up and wax bold.
That's right.
You feel me? So,
we see he deal with women as well.
Yeah, this sister got it in, you know what I'm saying, for the nation. Had she not stood up and did what she did, it'd be a lost cause. She did her thing. Yeah, she did her thing, you know what I'm saying. Straight riding, similar to what Harriet Tubman did, if you need something to relate to. You know what I'm saying? Freeing the slaves, pulling shotguns on certain, weak Negroes. Like, I'll lay you down if you go back. You mess around and snitch on us or something. Like, this sister was like that, you know what I'm saying? Real stand-up sister, you know what I'm saying? Was married, but then ended up being a widow. You know what I'm saying? Fasted off, except for on the Sabbath and feast days. Straight ride or die, beautiful sister. That's so beautiful, brother. Stop warring. He warring, bang, ding. She come walking through, brother. Stop swinging swords.
When you say beautiful sisters, and when we read about beautiful sisters that are mentioned in the scriptures, immediately we think about the sisters that we know and try to compare their beauty.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You look at just your average carnal sister, or she might be on TV or the movies, and you say, okay, she's beautiful. But then when you read it in the scriptures, you're like, shoot, is she that beautiful? This person here I'm looking at can't compare.
And most of the women you drool over today, most of them are witches anyway.
That's right.
Beyonce and Kim Kardashian and all them, they can't compare to these spiritual sisters.
Spiritual.
And her, you feel me? Like it was double up with them. They weren't just outwardly beautiful. You feel me? Their spirit was off the chain, which made them even more attractive. You understand?
Yep.
And that's what it is.
Which goes to what he said about making them more attractive. You all heard the saying that they say about a beautiful woman, you're beautiful but you ugly. It's your ways that make you ugly. It's the things that you do supersede your beauty. and that make you ugly. All right, let's get cracking.
Let's get into this.
Reading from the book of Judith in the Apocrypha, chapter 1. In the 12th year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
This Nebuchadnezzar is the same Nebuchadnezzar that was the king, Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon. This was the same cat during the same time in the reign of Daniel in the scriptures. So it's the same cat. All right, read on.
In the 12th year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, who reigned in Nineveh, the great city, in the days of
Arphaxad, along with a couple more interruptions, I'm getting. But this is one of Shem's sons. Shem, our father Shem, this was one that says, in my research, it said he was the 5th son of Shem, who was born about 2 months after the flood. Okay? So keep it in mind, you know, these are our people, but showing you who they are. This was our father Shem's son, Arphaxad, is how his name's pronounced here. All right, read on.
which reigned over the Medes in Ecbatane, and built in Ecbatane walls round about of stones, hewn 3 cubits broad and 6 cubits long, and made the height of the wall 70 cubits, and the breadth thereof 50 cubits, and set the towers thereof upon the gates of it, and 100 cubits high, and the breadth thereof and the foundation 80 cubits. And he made the gates thereof, even gates that were raised to the height of 70 cubits, and the breadth of them was 40 cubits, for the going forth of his mighty arm, and for the setting in array of his footmen. Even in those days, King Nebuchadnezzar made war with King Arphaxad in the great plain, which is the plain in the borders of Regah.
Scroll up, you're right.
Verse 6. And there came unto him all they that dwelt in the hill country, and all that dwelt by Euphrates, and Tigris, and Hydaspes, and the plain of Arioch, the king of the Elamites, and very many nations of the sons of Kilah assembled themselves to the battle. Then Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, sent unto all that dwelt in Persia, and to all that dwelt westward, and to those that dwelt in Cilicia, and Damascus, and Libanus, and Antilibanus, and to all that dwelt upon the sea coast, and to those among the nations that were of Carmel, and Goliad, and the higher Galilee, and the great plain of Esdraelon.
Read some words.
Hey, we can get that. We can let him do the whole thing today.
Just trying, brother.
That's right, very well too, brother.
Verse 9. And to all that were in Samaria and the cities thereof, and beyond Jordan unto Jerusalem, and Bethany, and Chelis, and Caves, and the river of Egypt, and Taphias, and Rameses, and all the land of Gesem.
That Gesem is the same as Goshen. Before we was taken captive in Egypt, we lived in Goshen. When Abraham came down with his 70 souls, when Joseph was in Egypt, Goshen was like the East St. Louis. That's where we stayed at, right next to Egypt. So just like St. Louis and East St. Louis, we lived in East St. Louis and we came over to Egypt, which is St. Louis would be Egypt, and East St. Louis would be Goshen. That's the same place. All right, keep reading.
Verse 10. Until ye come beyond Tanis and Memphis, and to all the inhabitants of Egypt, until ye come to the borders of Ethiopia. But all the inhabitants of the land made light of the commandment of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians. Neither went they with him to the battle. for they were not afraid of him. Yet he was before them as one man, and they sent away his ambassadors from them without effect.
So what he was trying to do, he was scared of people, but they weren't scared. You know, they looked at him as a little soft, you know, soft. Okay? So keep reading.
And with disgrace. Therefore, Nebuchadnezzar was very angry with all this country, and sware by his throne and kingdom that he would surely be avenged upon all those coasts of Cilicia and Damascus and Syria, and that he would slay with the sword all the inhabitants of the land of Moab, and the children of Ammon, and all Judea, and all that were in Egypt.
Stop right there real quick.
Go ahead.
Now you see the children of Ammon and Moab. We know that the original people was from Lot and his two daughters. So you got, to my understanding, Ammon being like the Japanese and Moab being like the Chinese, but picture these people being black. Okay, and remember that these people came from us. Okay? So when we get deeper in this story, remember who these people were. Okay, read on.
And all Judea, and all that were in Egypt, till ye come to the borders of the two seas. Then he marched in battle array with his power against King Arphaxad in the 17th year, and he prevailed in his battle, for he overthrew all the power of Arphaxad, and all his horsemen, and all his chariots, and became lord of his cities, and came unto Ecbatane, and took the towers, and spoiled the streets thereof, and turned the beauty thereof into shame. He took also Arphaxad in the mountains of Regai, and smote him through with his darts, and destroyed him utterly that day. So he returned afterward to Nineveh, both he and all his company of sundry nations, being a very great multitude of men of war, and there he took his ease, and banqueted, both he and his army, 120 days.
Going to chapter 2.
Yeah, y'all go chapter by chapter.
All right, the book of Judith, chapter 2, verse 1. And in the 18th year, the 22nd day of the first month, there was talk in the house of Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, that he should, as he said, avenge himself on all the earth. So we called unto him all his officers and all his nobles, and communicated with them his secret counsel, and concluded the afflicting of the whole earth out of his own mouth. Then they decreed to destroy all flesh that did not obey the commandment of his mouth. And when he had ended his counsel, Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Assyrians, called Hophanes, the chief captain of his army, which was next unto him, and said unto him, Thus saith the great king, the Lord of the whole earth.
You hear what he said now? This man, in his mind, is God on earth. And he wanted everybody on earth to acknowledge him as such.
Right.
So there's problem number one. All right, keep reading.
Sounds like the Antichrist.
Right.
Behold, thou shalt go forth from my presence, and take with thee men that trust in their own strength, of footmen 120,000, and the number of horses with their riders 12,000. And thou shalt go against all the west country, because they disobeyed my commandment. And thou shalt declare unto them that they prepare for me earth and water. For I will go forth in my wrath against them, and will cover the whole face of the earth with the feet of mine army. And I will give them for a spoil unto them, so that their slain shall fill their valleys and brooks, and the rivers shall be filled with their dead till it overflow. And I will lead them captives to the utmost parts of all the earth. Thou therefore shalt go forth, and take beforehand for me all their coasts. And if they will yield themselves unto thee, thou shalt reserve them for me to the day of their punishment. But concerning them that rebel let not thine eye spare them, but put them to the slaughter, and spoil them wheresoever thou goest. Whereas I live, and by the power of my kingdom, whatsoever I have spoken, that will I do by mine hand.
People took these, when people spoke something in those days, and they like word is bond, they meant that.
That's right.
And they will not stop until they keep their word, what they spoke out their mouth, till it be fulfilled.
No doubt.
You know.
Hey, it's a common movie, or a more recent movie, where it's played out, 300. Where the dude, Persian cat, first rode into town, and he said earth and water. Like, you know what I'm saying, Persian king want y'all to, you know, pay tribute to him. Everything would be cool. You feel me? Then remember they had killing dude, kicked him down the pit. You know what I'm saying? His wife interrupted him, like, your woman speaks? What kind of woman interrupts men? And you feel me? He was like, oh, hold on, you just tripped. Baby, hold on, chill out for a second. Walked him on over to the edge of the pit and kicked all of them over into the bottomless pit. That's how that war kicked off between the Greeks and the Persians. You feel me? But again, the spirit of we all United Nations and all that extra. When one nation is ruling, the other nations are serving. And the king that's serving, he demands tributary. In this case, earth and water, resources, what you got. All right? This right here is verse 13. Judith chapter 2, verse 13. And take thou heed that thou transgress none of the commandments of thy Lord, but accomplish them fully, as I have commanded thee, and defer not to do them. Then Hophanes went forth from the presence of his Lord, and called all the governors and captains and the officers of the army of Assur. And he mustered the chosen men for the battle, as his Lord had commanded him, and to 120,000 and 12,000 archers on horseback. And he ranged them, as a great army is ordered for the war. And he took camels and asses for their carriages, a very great number, and sheep and oxen and goats without number for their provision, and plenty of victual for every man in the army, and very much gold and silver out of the king's house. Then he went forth and all his powers and go before King Nebuchadnezzar in the voyage, and to cover all the face of the earth westward, with their chariots and horsemen, and their chosen footmen. A great number also of sundry countries came with them like locusts, and like the sand of the earth, for the multitude was without number. And they went forth of Nineveh, 3 days' journey toward the plain of Bet-Teleph, and pitched from Bet-Teleph near the mountain which is at the left hand of the upper Cilicia. Then he took all his army, his footmen, and horsemen, and chariots, and went from thence into the hill country.
Hold on real quick. You see how large this campaign is? So we stop and think about, say, Jennings and you know, St. John, things like that, little 7 cities amongst ourselves. But these people, they target mountains and countries and all over the place, that when this man's word went forth, all these people responded. So we're not talking about like little cities around here, we talking states.
Empires. Yeah.
Right. So you have to let your mind be, we say like Iowa and Illinois and Tennessee. You know, that expanse of how great this is talking about. These are not just in the same municipalities.
Yeah. And then look, Assyria was a world empire. Babylon was too. You know what I'm saying? So they sending their word out to everybody. Get down and lay down, basically.
So just like this country talks to other countries, we're talking physical of being over in Europe and Russia or wherever, and the United States together, how they talk countries today on the telephone. We talking countries that expanded all of this. Read on.
Verse 23, and destroyed Phud and Lud, and spoiled all the children of Rasas, and the children of Ishmael, which were toward the wilderness at the south of the land of
Israel.
Ismael.
This say Israel. On this version here, on the computer, it say Israel.
What is that?
Israel.
24. Then he went over Euphrates and went through Mesopotamia and destroyed all the high cities that were upon the river, or Bornai, till he come to the sea. And he took the borders of Cilicia and killed all that resisted him. And killed all that resisted him. And came to the borders of Judith, which were toward the south, over against Arabia. He compassed also all the children of Midian, and burned up their tabernacles, and spoiled their sheepcotes.
And their sheepcoats in the Hebrew 5116, this is an actual corral that the sheep were kept in. So not only did they destroy all the things we're going to destroy, you can't eat either. So all their sheep that they had in herds and corrals and stuff, they destroyed all that too. Read on.
Verse 27. Then he went down into the plain of Damascus in the time of wheat harvest, and burnt up all their fields, and destroyed their flocks and herds. Also he spoiled their cities and utterly wasted their countries, and smote all their young men with the edge of the sword. Therefore the fear and dread of him fell upon all the inhabitants of the seacoast, which were in Zidon and Tyrus, and them that dwelt in Sur and Osina, and all that dwelt in Jimnon, and they that dwelt in Azotus and Ascalon feared him greatly.
Chapter 3. So they sent ambassadors unto him to treat of peace, saying, Behold, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, the king, the great king, lie before thee. Use us as shall be good in thy sight. Behold, our houses and all our places, and all our fields of wheat, and flocks, and herds, and all the lodges of our tents lie before thy face. Use them as it please thee. Behold, even our cities, and the inhabitants thereof are thy servants. Come and deal with them as seemeth good unto thee. So the men came to Holofernes, and declared unto him after this manner. Then came he down toward the sea coast, before he and his army. Both he and his army, and set garrison in the high cities, and took out them chosen men for aid. So they and all the country round about received them with garlands, with dances, and with timbrels. Yet did he cast down their frontiers and cut down their groves, for he had decreed to destroy all the gods of the land, that all nations should worship Nebuchadnezzar only, and that all tongues and tribes should call upon him as God.
You see that? And so when you see this, now picture just your neighborhood. Just your neighborhood, and something like this happened, and all y'all got to come together to do what this man said. You live in your own life. Well, here comes somebody that's coming in and trying to take over and telling you that he got it. Okay, so this man was set out to conquer the world and sit on top of it and say that it's all his. Okay? We gonna see. Keep going.
Also he came over against Esdraelon, near unto Judea, over against the great strait of Judea. And he pitched between Geba and Scythopolis. And there he tarried a whole month, and he might gather together all the carriages of his armies.
Chapter 4. Yeah. Here come the flip side. All right. We have seen all what he's trying to do until he ran up against who? Let's read.
Now the children of Israel that dwelt in Judea heard all that Holofernes, the chief captain of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Assyria, had done to the nation, and after what manner he had spoiled all their temples, and brought them to naught. Therefore they were exceedingly afraid of him, and were troubled for Jerusalem, and for the temple of the Lord their God, for they were newly returned from the captivity, and all the people of Judea were lately gathered together, and the vessels and the altar and the house were sanctified after the profanation.
This was after them rebuilding the temple. So they saying to themselves why they was afraid was that we just went through this. And then we won and got our temple back. We done restored the temple. We done after it's been profaned, we done set everything back in order and we cool. And here this cat comes. All right? Read on.
Therefore they sent into all the coasts of Samaria, and the villages, and to Betharon, and Baalman, and Jericho, and to Choba, and to Esau, and to the valley of Salem, and possessed themselves beforehand of all the tops of the high mountains, and fortified the villages that were in them, and laid up victuals for the provision of war. For their fields were of late reaped. Also Joachim the high priest.
That's, real quick, Joachim, in the book of Nehemiah 12 and 10, he is identified as the son of Joshua the high priest. So just to keep seeing that what we already been reading and studying throughout the scriptures, there was other things that was happening at the same time as well. So this keeps you in mind of the time and place and the people who were alive at this time. Okay, so this was Joshua's son. Read on.
Also Joachim the high priest, which was in those days in Jerusalem, wrote to them that dwelt in Bethulia and Bethel-Mesta, which is over against Esdraelon, toward the open country near to Dothaim, charging them to keep the passages of the hill country, for by them there was an entrance into Judea. And it was easy to stop them that would come up, because the passage was straight, for 2 men at the most.
So like y'all, you look back, if you ever watched old westerns, it was always outside in a canyon. So what they're saying is canyon was their stronghold. And it was easy to guard because all we got to do is set men down here to watch it, because can't nobody bum rush us. Can't nobody just run up on us and catch us unaware. It's going to be hard for them to get to us. So this is what that's talking about. But, yeah, it's always like a strategy of war. If they got a stronghold where they're at right now, and can't nobody just run down on them easily.
Yeah, it's real tight up in there too. 2 men at the most can fit in there. So it's this passage real tight. Now you're trying to get into the city, but you got to go into this tight passage to conquer. You feel me? And they up top looking at you trying to come on in. It's not going to look good. In 300 they did that. Yeah. In 300 they did exactly that. You feel me? The Persians came in, they boxed them right on in. You feel me? Like, oh, these Greeks, these little bit of Greeks defeat all them. But it just was a war strategy. You feel me? Force all them into this small area right here. And we got the high ground, they're done.
About the size of that eye.
Yeah. You gotta fit a whole army down that high right there. That's a problem. Yeah.
Verse 8. And the children of Israel did as Joachim the high priest had commanded them, with the ancients of all the people of Israel, which dwelt at Jerusalem. Then every man of Israel cried to Yahweh with great fervency, and with great vehemence did they humble their soul, both they and their wives, and their children, and their cattle, and every stranger and hireling, and their servants bought with money upon them.
Everybody.
So just like when you read about Cornelius in Acts chapter 10, it says that he served the Lord and his whole household. Yeah. See, this is one accord. This is one accord, because what they was going through right now was for the whole nation, not an individual, not nothing that somebody was having a problem with. This was all of them. So you see, there's plenty of examples of when trouble time comes, everybody get on the same page. We need help from our Lord, and everybody's in one accord. Now think about trying to get the churches together. You see what I'm saying? There's going to be disagreements on this and that, and who's going to run what. No, this is all of us in one accord. All right, we know.
Thus every man and woman and the little children and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before the temple and cast ashes upon their heads and spread out their sackcloth before the face of the Lord. Also they put sackcloth about the altar and cried unto the God of Israel, all with one consent, earnestly, that he would not give their children for a prey.
Hold up, real quick. Did you see that when they were so into this that they even put sackcloth on the altar? Everything down here that's earthly of us is in one accord with this prayer and this mourning and this weeping. They put sackcloth on the altar. That's trouble.
That's a serious SOS.
That's right. That's trouble.
Yeah.
That's a 911 to the most. Okay, we go.
And their wives for a spoil, that the cities of their inheritance to destruction, and the sanctuary to profanation and reproach, and for the nations to rejoice at. So Yah heard their prayer, and looked upon their affliction. For the people fasted many days in all Judea and Jerusalem, before the sanctuary of the Lord Almighty. And Joachim the high priest, and all the priests that stood before the Lord, and they which ministered unto the Lord, had their loins girt with sackcloth, and offered the daily burnt offering with the vows and free gifts of the people, and had ashes on their mitres, and cried unto the Lord with all their power.
Oh, I missed one. And they had ashes on their miters?
Yeah.
That is official headdress of the ancient high priest. Huh? Mitri. Yeah, I saw different pronunciations. But this is what the priests wore. So they put ashes on their mitris and cried unto the Lord with power. So even they humbled themselves down as well. Okay, I'm sorry, Leo.
That he would look upon all the house of Israel graciously.
All right, chapter 5. Then it was declared to Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Assur, that the children of Israel had prepared for war, and had shut up the passages of the hill country, and had fortified all the tops of the high hills, and had laid impediments in the Champagne country.
Okay, what this is saying now, word has got back to Holofernes. Everybody else has submitted. All the rest of this world, everybody that Nebuchadnezzar's decree went out to, submitted and said, hey, we gonna fall in line with you. You gonna be the king of all of us. Right. But when it comes to the Israel, he said, nah, word got back to him. These cats right here ain't going for it.
These niggas rebellious.
Okay? So now they got a problem. Everything else was smooth. Took over the world just with the words out their mouth. This is what it's going to be like. And they got no resistance.
Yeah.
Okay? No resistance from the rest of the world till it came down to Israel.
Yeah, look, notice dude want to be declared God.
Right.
That's a problem for us.
Big problem.
It's automatically going to be
Big
a problem.
problem.
What you mean you God? That means you got to bow to you, worship you, sacrifice to you.
That's up.
They tell them that you created me. You know what I'm saying? You the one that created me.
Right. But you notice that everybody else that had an idol God quickly was like, oh, okay, here. I'll sign up for the job.
Right. Right.
An idol don't hold you to it. You can worship that idol one day and that idol the next day. There ain't no punishment for it. Don't hold you to it. It's just wherever the wind blows. Whatever tickle your fancy, you can worship it. But if you serve the God of the Bible, you already know, no deal. We got plenty of stories about that. Why Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego get thrown in the fiery furnace?
That's right.
They wouldn't bow to that image.
That's right.
You feel me? Why Daniel get thrown in the lion's den? Because he decided to pray to his God 3 times a day. So if anybody comes talking about their God and you got to get down and show your devotion, that's a problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a problem for most brews with the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's right.
I'm not pledging no allegiance, no flag pose, you serious?
You're not supposed to have no allegiance to nothing
But the Lord anyway.
Our children's class getting ready to get started.
So it's naturally going to be a problem. You feel me? Out of some Hebrews. You feel me? Anyone that's devoted, should I say?
Yes, sir.
Anybody come with some type of agenda saying, you know, hey, God is over here. You got to come pledge your allegiance, right? You shouldn't look at this story like, oh, that's a sweet story in the past. It's already beyond us because there's an Antichrist coming.
That's right.
Same type system going, hey, you give your allegiance. You want into this right here? Accept this mark.
That's right.
Right? And you want to ststand up once again. You keep repeating this.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, Al.
You know, some of those things they have fringes at the bottom too.
Yeah, come on. That's all on the top.
Go ahead.
We're about to get started rehearsing with the youth today. On the person for learning about the books of scripture.
And also, y'all, it'll be a notebook back there with him. We had to announce, I was supposed to announce this at the beginning of the class for the Passover. No, she told me to make sure I made the announcement that if anybody's signing up for any activity for the Passover for your children, make sure you put that on a notebook. If you got a notebook. Just see him, y'all, so we don't get sidetracked in here. Just see Duell to sign up if you got any children that's going to participate in the Passover.
Was that class going? You finish our class? Short legs. None of y'all finished.
We'll learn that song.
Sabbath school.
Sabbath school, little Jonas.
Yeah. Sabbath school.
None of your business.
All right, we're in the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 2. Wherewith he was very angry, and called all the princes of Moab, and the captains of Ammon, and all the governors of the sea coast. And he said unto them, Tell me now, ye sons of Canaan.
Canaan, that's what he basically called them. Canaanites. Ye sons of Canaan. Come on, Lord.
Who this people is that dwelleth in the hill country.
We didn't even know about it.
And what are the cities that they inhabit? And what is the multitude of their army? And wherein is their power and strength? And what king is set over them, or captain of their army? And why have they determined not to come and meet me?
Wow.
More than all the inhabitants of the west.
So you see, like we said, everybody else got down with the program. You want to be king over us, God over us. They bowed down. They gave up without a fight. Without a fight. And why? Because they ain't had no God. But he's asking, now, who is these people? He don't know nothing about them.
Exactly.
And he said, who is their power? Who do they worship? Who do they serve? You know, he asking all these questions about them. Well, here come our cat. Read on.
Verse 5.
Remember this cat.
Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon.
So an Ammonite was amongst them and said, hold up.
Yeah.
Hold up.
And they would know our history.
That's right. And he gonna break it down. Read on.
Let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee, and inhabiteth the hill country. And there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant. This people are descendant of the Chaldeans, and they sojourned heretofore in Mesopotamia, because they would not follow the gods of their fathers, which were in the land of Chaldea.
Well, sound like you can study that.
So right here, you see that this is just one of the many thousands of examples of what? Our disobedience. And y'all, this is what I want y'all to remember this, is that it's always when we was faithful and true, everything is straight. As soon as we trip, we get in trouble. And that's why the scripture always refers to us as stiff-necked people.
Yeah.
How hard is it to do right? and you know what right brings you. And you do evil, and you know what evil brings you. Like Paul said, that I would do, I do not. That I shouldn't do, that I do. This is the example. Read on.
Verse 8. For they left the way of their ancestors and worshiped the Elohim of heaven, the Elohim whom they knew.
See?
So they cast them out of the face of their God, and they fled into Mesopotamia, and sojourned there many days. Then their Elohim commanded them to depart from the place where they sojourned, and to go into the land of Canaan, where they dwelt, and were increased with gold and silver, and with very much cattle. But when the famine covered all the land of Canaan, they went down into Egypt, and sojourned there, while they were nourished, and became there a great multitude, so that one could not number their nation.
So look, this cat is breaking down our history, and it's there like a timeline. Good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. You know, and it's like, how can you not get it? And everybody, the rest of the world, looks to us and say, yep, them the ones. When they serving their God, everything's cool. But when they trip, and it's like the rest of the world gets it and we don't.
Yeah, we expect it with everybody.
That's right. Keep going.
Verse 11. Therefore the king of Egypt rose up against them, and dealt subtly with them, and brought them low with laboring in brick, and made them slaves. Then they cried unto their Elohim, and he smote all the land of Egypt with incurable plague. So the Egyptians cast them out of their sight. And Yah dried the Red Sea before them, and brought them to Mount Sinai, and Kadesh Barnea, and cast forth all that dwelt in the wilderness. So they dwelt in the land of the Amorites, and they destroyed by their strength all them in Esbon. And passing over Jordan, they possessed all the hill country. And they cast forth before them the Canaanite and Perizzite, the Jebusite, and the Sycamite, and all the Girgashites, and they dwelt in that country many days.
So they was able to kick out all the inhabitants of the land where they was going. This our land now. Y'all got to go. Kicked out all of them. So just think about us. We can kick out the Gentiles. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's amongst you. Y'all got to go. This is ours. This is our hood. This is our hood. Y'all got to go.
Right, promised to him by God Almighty. He did promise to Abraham actually a couple hundred years earlier. Now it's time to collect on what was promised. But of course you can't just show up and say, hi y'all, God gave you this. It's time for y'all to go.
Right.
Or your plane ticket, time to leave.
That's right.
There's going to be some type of conflict, ain't it? Right. The same thing. Let's read, Doc.
Verse 17. And whilst they sinned not before their Elohim, they prospered, because the power that hateth iniquity was with them.
Yeah.
Wow.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles, very sore, and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
So even before we got over here, we were still being led into lands that was not ours for our disobedience until ultimately we ended up over here.
In and out of slavery.
That's stiff neck.
Yeah.
Every time, this is what I'm saying, it's just like when you was a child and you knew growing up how to please your parents. If I do this, I know I got a reward coming. If I do that, I got punishment. Wait.
Look at it like this is the first.
That's right. That's right. And see, that's what I'm saying. No matter where we went, they followed us. The blessings and the curses followed us no matter where we went. And we all knew the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do, and we chose the wrong more often than not. Read on.
That's right.
And the temple of their power was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemy. But now are they returned to their God.
That's right.
And are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
So what he's telling him right here is that if you're thinking about messing with them, this is the wrong time. Because they're faithful right now at this time to their God. You go over there messing with them, you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to lose. But what he's going to, the way all the partners is going to be looking at him is going to be called, basically in terminology today, a nigga lover. Okay? Now this is basically exactly the way he's looking at him. You're going to see it in a few sentences, but he's looking at him now as a nigga lover. You messing with these people, what do you got to say so much about these people? How you going to tell me? Right. How you going to tell me what to do and what not to do? Right. So we don't see this nigga love here.
Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their power, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
You see right here real quick, if y'all ever read the letters of Pontius Pilate, when the Messiah was before him, he said the same thing. Broke down our entire history, like I said, just like a chart. Go up and down, up and down, up and down, all the way across. This is the high time and the peak time when they was doing right. And when they fell off, they was down here. Never a median, never in the middle. You either serving them right or you serving them wrong. When you serve them right, blessings. Deuteronomy 28 verse 1. When you serve them wrong, the curses, verse 15. Read on.
Verse 22. And when Achior had finished these sayings, all the people standing round about the tent murmured, and the chief men of Holofernes, and all that dwelt by the seaside and in Moab, spake that he should kill him. For say they, we will not be afraid of the face of the children of Israel. For lo, it is a people that have no strength, nor power for a strong battle. Now therefore, Lord Holofernes, we will go up, and they shall be a prey to be devoured of all thy army.
Yeah. They can't say they wasn't warned.
Right.
But look, it let you know even all the nations study us. That shouldn't be that hard to understand. The Popeye's chicken on every corner.
That's right.
There's a liquor store on every corner.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? That ain't by coincidence. That's design. Chinese food.
And a church.
Church.
That's why they're using the church to get you away from your God.
There's a pawn shop on every corner.
And see, the difference is what they saying, and we say this all the time, just drive out to the Duke and look for the same things they just mentioned. You ain't gonna see no liquor store.
One of the posters of Billy D. Williams out there.
no Colt 45 billboards. All the things that they just mentioned, all you got to do is get in your car and drive out the ghetto and look for the same things that you just seen.
They say keep the smooth taste down with smooth.
I know you ride down Brentwood, you only see one Burger King.
That's it. There's no Church's chickens out there.
All fast food.
Right.
No Church's chicken in Ladue.
Yeah. Right. And it's because we're the children of merchandise. So when they see us, they see black gold.
Yeah.
So and they figure they bring in the Chinese. They all live in right above the Chinese place. There'll be about 30 of them. Next thing you start seeing is Mercedes-Benz. You're seeing Range Rover. And then you see them come in dressed like the young ones, like our young people. You know, they didn't grab the culture, now they're making the money, but their residence is out of Chesterfield. You know, but they come to work every day off the black gold, the same with the Arabs, the same with the white Jews who call Esau. They down here in the hood, and they making millions off of people that's we consume is 90 billion a year. Y'all think about that. Where are we getting $90 billion from? A lot of it's coming from the government, but they just getting it right back. All of the commercials they show you. So when you do make money, they say, come on over here to Jacob the Jewelers. You want some jewelry? You want items? We'll make them for you.
Load you up with items.
Yes, you want 30 cents less on that tall boy can of beer? Come around in Habib's. Mr. Johnny Beer is lukewarm, plus is 20 cents higher. And run him out of business. Brother on the street.
Yep.
Go ahead, Sista.
Heard. Y'all write this down right here, Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28, 43 through 45. And it describes our condition. You ever wonder why so many, like everybody has some type of shop or store or something in our communities. Everybody does. But the prophecies in the Bible of what happened or why nobody else goes through that. You feel me? Like you can't go and set up your shop in the Italian neighborhood.
Right.
It ain't happening. Anybody with any sense, they run their neighborhoods. They run the corner store, they run the laundromat, you feel me? They put their own aldermans in and everything.
Yep.
You feel me? It's only our neighborhoods that's exploited.
That's right.
You go right down, Abraham got the store, the Chinaman got the store, the African got the swap meet, and then, you feel me? Everybody.
Yep.
And look, it ain't just like that on the north side of St. Louis or the west side. Everywhere Israel is in the United States, Brazil, Central America, wherever you're talking about, this paradigm exists. To where other nations are exploiting the communities of these people right here, and they don't even put the money back into their community.
Right.
They suck all the resources about it and say, man, this is stupid. Yeah, we gonna set up a store right here. We gonna get the hookup. We gonna drain all the resources out. Y'all gonna give it to us anyway, right? And we gonna put nothing back into the community.
Right. And see, when they like Antonio French, which looks a lot like our brother Ariel, every time I see him on TV, Antonio French. But these Gentiles be screaming mad at him for doing what they do. Right. He's looking out for his community. And no, I'm not signing off on no stadium. And y'all say we need all these police officers and all these things that we need in our community. You gonna put it in our community and we don't get nothing for it? If he wasn't standing up for us, they won roughshod over the hood.
Right. And look, they don't allow you to bring your hood to their hood.
That's right.
See, you can't go out to Taste and Flavor and find a Miss Debbie Soul Food outside. Ain't no sweetie pies. Ain't no Taste of sweetie pies out there. Oh. They let you know we're not going to eat slave food. We're not going to promote it. If we decide to eat it, we'll come to your neighborhood. Right. Yeah. But you're not setting up shop.
Oh, they're going to get it good.
It's not happening out there. All you have to do is just go out there and see and look through every book. Little Italy, Little French, Little Germany.
The Hill.
But you won't see Little Negro vegans. There'll be no tasting chitlins out there. They ain't going to happen.
Tasting chitlins.
There's going to be no catfish surprise. That you're going to be sampling and they're going to pass out tickets for. No, you're going to experience ragu.
Yep. What we just
different
read.
Chinese
Ragu.
sweet and sour chickens, which may be German Shepherd. You don't know. It ain't happening out there.
Poodles and noodles.
Yes, sir.
Hey, y'all, this is Deuteronomy 28, and this describes everything we laughing about, right? Deuteronomy 28, we'll start at verse 43. It says, the stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come down very low. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder upon thy seed forever. Where'd you stop?
And y'all, this is what the forever means until Christ come back, because we know that's going to change forever into a righteous order. So we get it from every generation so that we don't lose sight on who the children of Israel are. So it's a prophecy through every generation until we get to Christ takes back over. So it's going to happen in our generation. We seeing this right here in our generation. We just made to recognize it now. Where at first we've been chasing religion. So when we see all these Zerbifites and Canaanites, you be like, just get to Jew and Gentile, something I can understand. But this is naming nations, not religion.
That's right.
See, and that's why we can't relate to it. Because we're not taught nationhood, we're taught religion.
Right.
So if it had said, and the Catholics, and the Buddhists, and the Baptists, then we'd be trying to follow along because we'd be following religion.
Oh, and the black folk.
And the black folks. So we don't know what we're reading when we're reading about nation, and that's all the Bible teach about is nations, kindreds, and tongues.
That's right.
We don't teach religion.
We don't.
There's nothing here about it. The Catholics will I judge. Those of you who have went astray from the popes, that ain't it. It ain't in it, so ain't no need you looking for. Go ahead, brother.
The book of Judith, chapter 6, verse 1. And when the tumult of men that were about the council was ceased, Hophanes, the chief captain of the army of Assur, said unto Achior and all the Moabites before all the company of other nations, and who art thou, Achior, and the hirelings of Ephraim? Thou hast prophesied among us today, and hast said that we should not make war with the people of Israel, because their Elohim will defend them. And who is God but Nebuchadnezzar? He will send his power. He will send his power and will destroy them. Verse 3 again. He will send his power and will destroy them from the face of the earth, and their God shall not deliver them. But we, his servants, will destroy them as one man, for they are not able to sustain the power of our horses. For with them we will tread them underfoot, and their mountains shall be drunken with their blood, and their fields shall be filled with their dead bodies, and their footsteps shall not be able to stand before us, for they shall utterly perish, saith King Nebuchadnezzar, Lord of all the earth. For he said, none of my words shall be in vain.
Now y'all remember who's talking right here. This ain't Nebuchadnezzar, this is boy. Okay, Holofernes, his boy, this is who's speaking for him.
Yeah, he's his
So he not only is his vice president, but he's down with this cat and believe in him as he say he is.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all remember that. Read on.
He's his right-hand man.
Yeah.
He's his hand. If you look at the Game of Thrones, remember you haven't seen that. Who's the hand of the king? He the one sent with the authority to execute whatever he say the king said. You feel me? Dude, the same way in this. You watch the Game of Thrones twice. Yeah, the wild ones. Yeah. All right, verse 5. And thou, Achior, and hireling of Ammon, which has spoken these words in the day of thine iniquity.
He trying to blow on him, just calling him a harlot.
Yeah.
You know, like when he said, who are you? You ain't nothing but a harlot.
You was hired to say these words. Shall see my face no more from this day, until I take vengeance of this nation that came out of Egypt. And then shall the sword of mine army and the multitude of them that serve me pass through thy sides, and thou shalt fall among their slain when I return.
Hear that?
Now therefore my servant shall bring thee back into the hill country, and shall set thee in one of the cities of the passages, and thou shalt not perish till thou be destroyed with them. And if thou persuade thyself in thy mind that they shall not be taken, let not thy countenance fall. I have spoken, and none of my words shall be in vain.
So you see here how he's when Achior first talked to him. Remember, look at it like this: you in the presence of somebody who came. So you have to humble yourself, and you have to speak to them in a certain way. You can't let anything come out your mouth that might offend them and make them mad, because your life
put to death.
It's right there before you. As you speak, I got to be careful about what I say.
Right.
So even how he stood, in the beginning, he was talking to me and said, look, man, I'm just telling you, if you let me speak, and don't get mad at me for what I'm finna say. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you the truth. So he tells him the truth, and he's like, yeah, nigga, I'm still mad at you for what you see. You know what I'm saying? How dare you talk to me like this again about somebody else, putting them above me? And this is just the second man in command. So we gonna keep, boy, I'm telling you, Achior is my cat.
Verse 10. Then Hophanes commanded his servants that waited in his tent to take Achior and bring him to Bethulia and deliver him into the hands of the children of Israel. So his servants took him and brought him out of the camp into the plain. And they went from the midst of the plain into the hill country and came into the fountains that were under Bethulia. And when the men of the city saw them, they took up their weapons and went out of the city to the top of the hill. And every man that used a sling kept them from coming up by casting of stones against them. Nevertheless, having gotten privily under the hill, they bound Achior and cast him down and left him at the foot of the hill and returned to their Lord.
So what Hophanes just told Achior, you like them niggas? Be with them niggas.
You're going to be there when we destroy Israel.
That's right. So he said, I'm going to set you in a place where you're going to be reserved so you can see this. And when I'm done destroying them, then I'm coming back for you. You see that? So what they did was, he's like, you like them? You a nigga lover? I'm going to put you with them. And turn them over to us. And what do we always say about us as a people? Open arms, open legs. We welcome in anybody amongst ourselves, which is what we're not supposed to do. But you see what happens when we do. Because we'll take in someone by our nature and care for them. You see that? So now we're going to keep reading.
14. But the Israelites, verse 14, but the Israelites descended from their city and came unto him and loosed him and brought him into Bethulia and presented him to the governors of the city, which were in those days Ozias, the son of Micah, of the tribe of Simeon, and Cabris, the son of Gathaniel, Cornus, the son of Melchiel. They called together all the ancients of the city, and all their youth ran together, and their women, to the assembly, and they set Achior in the midst of all their people. Then Ozias asked him of that which was done, and he answered and declared unto them the words of the counsel of Hophanes, and all the words that he had spoken in the midst of the princes of Assur, and whatsoever Hophanes had spoken proudly against the house of Israel. Then the people fell down and worshipped the Most High, and cried unto God, saying, O Lord, God of heaven, behold their pride and pity the low estate of our nation, and look upon the face of those that are sanctified unto thee this day. Then they comforted Achior and praised him greatly.
See how that? They bandaged up his wounds. Like, we got you. We got you. We understand. We know what we did to you. But you cool. You good with us. You know, rest your mind. Because he just was about to be put to death.
Yeah, Achior Moabite.
Yeah.
But you about how they showed him hospitality. You know, people, they say, you don't deal with no other nation.
Right.
Right? This cat a Moabite.
Yep.
You feel me?
We're going to see what's up with that Moabite.
Brought him right on in, but he knew our history. He knew the whole rundown. Verse 21. And Ozias took him out of the assembly into his house and made a feast to the elders. And they called on the God of Israel all that night for help.
You see that?
Chapter 7, part 3.
Chapter 7. The next day, Hophanes commanded all his army and all his people which were come to take his part, that they should remove their camp against Bethulia, to take aforehand the ascents of the hill country, and to make war against the children of Israel. Then their strong men removed their camps in that day, and the army of the men of war was 170,000 footmen and 12,000 horsemen, beside the baggage, and the other men that were afoot among them, a very great multitude. And they camped in the valley near unto Bethulia, by the fountain, and they spread themselves in breadth over the Dathaim, even to Belmaim, and in length from Bethulia unto Camon, which is over against Cedrelon. Now the children of Israel, when they saw the multitude of them, were greatly troubled. And they said, every one to his neighbor, now will these men lick up the face of the earth, for neither the high mountains, nor the valleys, nor the hills are able to bear their weight.
It's like standing on top of a mountain for the Israelites looking down in the valley, and it's full of people. All of them set against you. And so they name it like little different countries, but all of them in the same place, that they can look out amongst all that, see all the land round about them, and it's full of people coming to get you. You know.
Then every man took up his weapons of war, and when they had kindled fires upon their towers, they remained and watched all the night, that night. But in the second day, Ophanes brought forth all his horsemen in the sight of the children of Israel, which were in Bethulia, and viewed the passage up to the city, and came to the fountains of their water, and took them, and set garrisons of men of war over them. And he himself removed toward his people. Then came unto him all the chiefs of the children of Esau, and all the governors of the people of Moab, and the captains of the sea coast, and said, let our Lord now hear a word, that there be not an overthrow in thine army. For this people of the children of Israel do not trust in their spears, but in the height of the mountain wherein they dwell, because it is not easy to come up to the tops of their mountains. Now therefore, my Lord, fight not against them in battle array. And there shall not so much as one man of thy people perish. Remain in thy camp, and keep all the men of thine army, and let thy servants get into their heads. And let all their servants get into their hands the fountain of water, which issueth forth of the foot of the mountain.
So what he told them, sum it up real quick, was you ain't got to go up there and fight. We got the key thing that they need, and that's their water. They got to come down off that mountain to the fountain. All we do is guard the fountain, and they ain't gonna have no water. You ain't got to kill nobody. Ain't nobody got to die over this one. We got their key stronghold right here, which is their water.
That's right, the life of a nation.
Yep.
No water, no life.
That's right. No water, no rain, no crops.
Right.
You see what went on in Flint, Michigan, it still is going on.
Yeah.
The water changed and messed up, it's all bad.
It's it.
Yeah, so no water, it's a wrap.
Verse 13, for all the inhabitants of Bethulia have their water thence, so shall thirst kill them, and they shall give up their city, and we and our people shall go up to the tops of the mountains that are near, and will camp upon them, to watch that none go out of the city.
So they're going to set up a guard to watch on the key places where they would come down out that mountain, and you can pick them off right there and keep them from getting water. Or if you don't let them get water, they're going to run back up the mountain and say, I can't get down there. They sitting down there watching and waiting on us.
Y'all learn the strategies of war in Bible class?
That's it.
Huh?
Right.
You can read the Bible and get strategy of war? read earlier about the thin valley, pack them all in a tight spot, they can't get up in there.
Yep. Good analogy, bro.
Verse 4.
The Bible is just soothing read, you know, no such thing in the Bible.
Right.
Everything's just soothing. Right? You actually read history and learn strategies of warfare. Right out the Bible.
Verse 14. So they and their wives and their children shall be consumed with famine, and before the sword come against them, they shall be overthrown in the streets where they dwell.
They'll die right there.
Thus shalt thou render them an evil reward, because they rebelled and met not thy persons peaceably. And these words pleased Hophni and all his servants, and he appointed to do as they had spoken. So the camp of the children of Ammon departed, and with them 5,000 of the Assyrians, and they pitched in the valley, and took the waters and the fountains of the 12 waters of the children of Israel.
And think about, picture in your mind what 5,000 people look like.
$4 church.
Right.
That's a mega church, about 5,000.
So you got all the people down there that you got to get through to get a drink of water. And he just described a mega church, so we just think about the front row that you got to get through just to get a drink of water. And then for your rib and your little babies back up on top of the mountain. Read on.
Verse 18. Then the children of Esau went up with the children of Ammon, and camped in the hill country over against Dothan. And they sent some of them toward the south and toward the east, over against Ecrabel, which is near unto Chusa. Chusi. That is upon the brook of Machmar. And the rest of the army of the Assyrians camped in the plain and covered the faces of the whole land, and their tents and carriages were pitched to a very great multitude. Then the children of Israel cried unto the Most High, their God, because their heart failed, for all their enemies had compassed them round about, and there was no way to escape out from among them.
So right here, what we just read, that last verse was the key. It said that their hearts failed.
Yeah. Lost faith.
So, exactly. So when it's like you know the Lord and He in your life, and you pray to Him and He answers your prayers and He do everything that you need to do that's righteously. So how come when any other time something happens, the first thing you do, your faith get weak, and you got your head in between your legs, and you're scared.
For a weather believer.
There you go. That's what it says.
As long as the sun shines, we believe.
Right, like fair weather friends. As long as you got money, you got pockets.
Right.
And you see with some of the greatest men in the Bible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the brother Elijah just called fire out of heaven. He burned up all these false prophets and put them to the sword. The very next breath, he running from Jezebel.
Right.
Like scared, running from him. Like, she's going to kill me, Lord.
He put it out.
You just called down fire from heaven. You know the Lord with you.
Right. There shouldn't have been nothing in his faith that ever wavered until his last breath.
The very next breath, he's running like, man, it's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
The prophet Elijah. A prophet.
I'm talking about she was in power. Jezebel was. She even had a whole set of false prophets that would prophesy lies and attack. And she said he did what? Kill 450 of mine?
Kill him at night.
Oh, get the boys together. Yeah. Tell them Jesse say. And then he said, Lord, am I left alone? And the Lord said, now you really tripping. You think you the only man I got left on earth.
Right.
I got 7,000 and even bow the knee to Baal. You just one of them 7,000.
Yeah, 7,001.
Yeah.
just did a mighty work too.
Yeah.
Mighty
So,
work.
so we see here, and they all was already praying. They already put sackcloth on the altar. All in one consent. Everybody praying together. But then as soon as you get up down there and see them 5,000 standing down there at your water, you get scared.
Yeah.
You didn't even think to pray for rain, to fill the cisterns. You know, they could have prayed for rain. Lord,
Right.
let it rain
Absolutely, right.
and fill up our cisterns, and so now we got water. We ain't got to go down there. Then what they gonna do? Go ahead, Gary.
Second thing, what you're speaking on concerning faith is James chapter 1, verse 6. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavereth. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways.
You see how double-mindedly unstable they were.
Yeah, go ahead. This right here, y'all can write down Psalms the 56th chapter. And this is when King David was calling for the mercies of the Most High. But it was a certain mindset that he was in, right? Opposite of what our forefathers was in when they seen all them people in that valley. All right, so I'm going to start at Psalms 56 and 1. It says, be merciful unto me, O God, for man would swallow me up. He fight daily oppresseth me. My enemies would daily swallow me up. But they be many that fight against me, O thou Most High. What time am I am afraid. I will trust in thee. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee.
Right.
And the Most High will praise his word. In Yah I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me. Every day they rest my words. All their thoughts are against me for evil. Jump down to verse 10. In God will I praise his word. In Yahweh will I praise his word. In the Most High have I put my trust. I will not be afraid what man can do unto me. Thy vows are upon me, O Yah. I will render praises unto thee. For thou hast delivered my soul from death. Wilt not thou deliver my feet from falling, that I may walk before the Lord in the light of the living? Not trip off him. He's saying he got enemies, he being oppressed, but he'll never fear what a man can do to him. That's right.
Dude, bro, do you have the time to just read a couple verses of Judith? What does the Judith say for me, man? And this is where a lot of the copying for 300 came from. See, they always steal out of the Bible. This is basically that warrior, Gideon, whose name was called Jerubbaal a couple times. But in this 7th chapter, he had to take back again the land from the Midianites, who are descendants from Abraham and his concubine, Keturah. So they had to get that back from them. But it's about, we think it's about the number. If we get a whole mass army, we can take it. But the Lord said you can have 10,000 and 9,800 of them could be weaklings.
Yeah. Right.
All that's going to be is just a bunch of people running back the other way with their tail between their legs. It's like a dog barking, bagging up.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is letting you know that the Most High is not looking for quantity, he's looking for quality of men.
Right.
And that may be a small number that he's saying, I can get it done with these. He said, besides that, the children of Israel will think that if we amass numbers, we can get it done, and then y'all won't need the Lord for help. It's why David was punished twice for numbering Israel. We weren't supposed to do that to let the other nations think we're going to get it done by large numbers. We got a chief angel that comes to our defense, a whole air force of angels that'll come to our defense and wipe everybody completely out. We won't have to lift a finger. So we can't get it in our mindsets that if we all join together, we're messianic or non-messianic or believe in the Messiah. Now, if we just come together, we can take over America. You're crazy. Because which one of us we gonna trust to get in the F-15? you know, or to drive or handle our way. We ain't got none of that, y'all.
I love you.
January the 1st, all of us are out of almost all the bullets we had. Ain't nobody got but a pocket full left after January the 1st. Because we shot them all up on New Year's Eve.
Toward the throne of God.
Yeah, toward the throne of God. But just read a little bit of that map so we can see that how we kind of deal with the numbers. He said, and there's a reason for that. We don't want to look like if we coming with 10,000 of us, that's going to scare this nation. No, the Most High said, I'm going to send a few of y'all, and then now the parable of you should go at them by 10 and 1,000 should flee. You know, low numbers going to make a whole number run.
Right.
That's what we have to be looking for. Go ahead, brother.
And plus, that if you read that down, the Most High said, by his hand, he put us in this situation.
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be by his hand, he's going to bring us out.
That's right.
There's no problem right now.
Yeah, because if you deliver yourself, you don't need the Messiah.
That's right.
You don't need the Lord. And then you know how we do. Rich man, you bragging. You feel like people ain't respecting you enough. You don't appreciate what I did for you.
Yeah.
It turns corner quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Man, March is in fact.
Yeah.
And the sucker march.
Yeah.
Because that's what it was. Seemed like they just talked about having strength in men to get it done in a few numbers. You had a whole million of suckers that couldn't have done nothing.
Right, but you're going to see how these numbers went. Go ahead, man.
This is the book of Judges, chapter 7, verse 1. Then Jerubbaal, who was Gideon, and all the people that were with him rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them, by the hill of Moreh in the valley. The Most High said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me, are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands. Lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, my own hand have saved me.
See, he's saying there's so many of y'all available for war, but y'all gonna exclude me. Like y'all didn't need my help. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 3. Now therefore, go to, proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful,
Whosoever is what?
fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000.
So that's 32,000 people. We said, who's scared? 22,000 turned around. Now y'all looking at where y'all numbers at now. You got a 32,000 man army of Israel, and they said, who's scared? If you scared, go home. And they went home. 22,000. Go ahead, man.
Wow. Everybody front, all front, no back. Verse 4. And the Most High said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down to the water, and I will try them for thee there. And it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go with thee. And of whomsoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go with thee. So he brought down the people into the water. The Most High said unto Gideon, every one that lappeth of the water with his tongue as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. And the number of them that lapped, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men.
How many?
300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water.
So you got 10,000 people, and so that's what, 9,700?
9,700.
It's bowed down, drinking the water up like this. And those who not with their hand, you're still watching. Like a deer, take a sip, but she's still watching for the prey. If you gird yourself in water, you're going to get full, and y'all know the next thing, the remote control, and mid-roll setting in. Y'all know what's going to happen. He said that's going to be a problem because they get too full. They're thinking they're running out. There'll be no help because they're not on guard at this point. I need them to be on guard. And out of 10,000, 300 was like this. He's saying that's going to be the signal. Them your strong men right there, because they saying I just need a little bit to get me to the next point. If you gobble it all up, you can believe it was some putting water in the satchel. They're looking to say we're going to try to preserve ourselves. And we still ain't gonna need more help from the Lord. He's telling them, just take the ones who saying this is sufficient for me to move to the next spot.
Hey, you know how we forget his war real quick.
Real quick.
The brother saw some water, hit the any water.
Yeah.
Drop down, guns like what?
On their knees.
The other brothers lapping water in their hand like a dog or paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Like it's in wartime.
Yeah.
Y'all brothers probably over there doing breaststrokes.
Yeah.
You know, that's
laying in the water yourself.
Just done told me, forgot me at war.
Yeah.
9,700, 300 was ready. You feel me? Because they never forgot the objective.
Go ahead, brother.
In this country, why use faith if you got good credit?
Huh?
In this country right now, why use faith if you got good credit?
Why use faith if you got good credit?
Yeah.
Break it down for us, bro.
It almost makes faith, faith almost irrelevant if you got good credit in this country.
You say, why have faith if you got good credit? Like we just said about the rich man, trusting in his own riches.
Right.
I just won't need the Lord.
Right.
You say that's the mindset of the world.
Right, nothing gonna come to me, my credit good, you know. But you're running off a system that could say if you want to keep this credit, you got to bow down.
That's right.
Absolutely. So you're 100% right in that, bro. But this is how the Most High checks for quality versus quantity. Because you can have a bunch of people with you, but when the war breaks, you're going to get slim. Same thing happened with the disciples. The only one left was Peter. He denied him, but at least he was still hanging around. You know, he wanted to see the end, but the other 11 burned out. Well, I should say the other 10 burned out. Wasn't seen from. They said they didn't smell the smoke of it.
And you know what you trip off of? These men didn't even know they was being tried.
Yeah, yes sir.
Most I was dealing with Gideon, like tell them to go down there and do that. You feel me? So you never know when you're being tried or put in a situation.
That's right.
To see the true intention of your heart. That's right. You feel me? They didn't know there's 10,000 left. Need some water, and some of them got on their knees and started drinking the water. And forgot it was wartime. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know they being tried, but based off how you react off this, you're gonna let the Lord know of what you about quality and quantity. You know what I'm saying? Is it good quality or you just about the numbers? Based off your reaction. When you're desperate. Navy SEALs been trained under the most crucial circumstances.
Yeah.
You feel that's why they need elite. You feel me? That's like basic training. They put them in almost impossible situations. And you got to come out on top.
Right. Send them to go get Bin Laden.
They sure did. What's up, Ed?
And it's a word that used in the scripture. He said it's dismayed. You know, we could gird up, bottom of the ninth, top, 2 strikes, 2 out, but word dismayed, like you using the analogy of your money. But if they freeze your assets, like they did Will Smith in Enemy of the State, of the estate, with the word dismayed meaning sudden loss of spirit. Right. See, you was good for, you thought your signature was good and everything. Right. But you was dismayed when they froze your assets. Right. Your assets froze.
Can't sleep at night. But the scripture warns a rich man that trusts in his riches can't sleep. He sleeps about 3 hours a night because he fears seeing what gives him all the power that he feels is when he look and see net balance, -9 billion. If he get up and see net balance -9 billion, all of his power is gone. Now he's like us. And that's what he fears the most, and it don't allow you to sleep. Because y'all can believe he just up every day with his phone and just push Dow Jones pop up. And he's seeing where his money is. If it's that, I can go back to sleep for a few more minutes. Flick up. Where it's at. Yo, that's why he's up like that. The script say a rich man that that's why he's gathering every one of his cabinet members are billionaires. That's right to do. Somebody else. He's around people that looks for money as power. Then I'm comfortable with people like that. Right. Smell it for. Right, absolutely. So y'all, this is what we're talking about. That when it comes time, that when they want to separate you. Now look, if we use the $200 a month, if we get an EBT card, they're going to put that on the chopping blocks. If you able to stretch out Roman numerals for 30 days on $200, they're gonna take that away. You want that back?
What?
You want it back, then you come on too. It says, causes all, both rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark. And it says, gonna call. You can't buy nothing else. If we catch you trying to trade that product for a loaf of bread, you might as well smoke that up. Don't come around here with that for a loaf of bread. No trading. So y'all get that through your mind. You think I got some gold too. Gold ain't gonna get it done, because if you're found bartering, both you and that individual are gonna be killed for trading. So y'all, we're gonna have to solely depend on our God for deliverance out of this one.
For sure.
This one that's coming.
Right. Real quick, I didn't think about this until now, that Deuteronomy 7:7, where the Most High says that I did not choose you because ye were more in number
Yes, sir.
than any people, you were the fewest of all.
Right.
So we've always been a minority and few in number. So think about it now, you looking down there and seeing 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Guard your water. And that fear and trembling that came upon them. They still look at numbers and not at the Most High.
That's right.
No matter how many people down there, standing up, guarding our water, we still standing on our faith. They got scared.
And see, he didn't send 5 million or 1 million man march to Pharaoh. He sent 2. Moses and Aaron.
That's right.
Go tell them what I said. The law say minimum 2.
Yep.
And every word may be established. Y'all too go talk to him. But that's the king of the world. That's all he needs y'all to.
Yep.
Don't worry about it after that. That's all
right.
right. You in that verse 7.
Verse 7. And the Most High said unto Gideon, by 300 men.
By how many?
300 men that lacked will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand, and let all the other people go, every man into his place.
So when you'll see through Judith 6 through the 8th chapter, that this is very similar, or the movie 300 is very similar to what Gideon was doing.
Yeah.
No coincidence they called it 300.
All right, y'all, let's get back on it. We in chapter 7, and we need to get to chapter 16. So, let's keep rolling.
Book of Judith, chapter 7, verse 20. Thus all the company of Assur remained about them, both their footmen, chariots, and horsemen, 34 days, so that all their vessels of water failed all the inhabitants of Bethuel. And the cisterns were empty, and they had not water to drink their fill for 1 day, for they gave them drink by measure. Therefore,
Rationing.
Yeah.
It's called rationing. Now, if you see a movie, when they stranded on an island, they only got 1 cupcake, they have to ration it out.
they doing food like they done Venezuela right now.
Are they boys that bad? Number 2 all supply of the world.
You can't feed them. Therefore, their young children were out of heart, and their women and young men fainted for thirst, and fell down in the streets of the city, and by the passages of the gates, and there was no longer any strength in them.
So, can any of us say we've been through something like this? Walking around,
With no
starving?
water. You say
No
ration
water.
out 1 bottle per man per day. See, look, y'all have to sip on this. This is what you get all day. Or maybe for 2 days. This is what we passing out. 1 of these for 2 days. And everybody get 1 pack of that 2 pack of Ritz crackers.
Not even with the cheese and the Ritz.
None of that, just that. Now, if the Ritz crackers come up missing, somebody done been into tomorrow's supply, then we're going to have a whistling contest. Whistling. The crackers fly out of your mouth. I'm telling y'all, it'll get that serious. A pack of crackers, y'all think about that, what that would do for you for that type of hunger that we ain't never experienced yet.
That's right.
And why he always deal with us with water, because he's living water. Y'all, 3 days without this, we dead. 3 days, you can live 2 weeks without food. But 3 days without this, It's a done deal because dehydration setting in, lips gonna be chapped, it's the whole thing, and then your body can't function without it because it can't flush out the toxins and different things. Your kidneys can't do it. So y'all, this is why he come with this, and then he tell you, you got living water with you. Just call on me, and I'll deliver the water at a drop of a hat. Y'all just have to turn back to me. But y'all will start thinking that this will save our life. And it would. Just like the 300, they only need drinking. And them Midianites could have called them. How you going to run with a full belly of water? How you going to fight with a full belly of water? I'm talking about drinking it till you can't stop. And then you have to sit down. That's how you know when you drink too much, because it forces you to sit down and say, woo. No, you can't be in woo mode with the Midianites. No,
not the Midianites.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 23. Then all the people assembled to Ozias and to the chief of the city, both young men and women and children, and cried with a loud voice, and said before all the elders, Yahweh be judged between us and you, for ye have done us great injury, in that ye have not required peace of the children of the sword. For now we have no helper, but Yahweh has sold us unto their hands.
You see, look how they blaming him.
Yeah.
Automatically, you start blaming God for your troubles.
Like
you've been worshiping all along. The Lord did this to us.
Right.
Keep going.
That we should be thrown down before them with thirst and great destruction. Now therefore, call them unto you, and deliver the whole city for a spoil to the people of Holofernes, and to all his army. For it is better for us to be made a spoil unto them, than to die for thirst. For we will be his servants, that our souls may live.
Sold out already.
Yeah.
And not see death for our infants before our eyes, nor our wives, nor our children to die. We take to witness against you the heaven and the earth, and our God and our Lord of our fathers, which punisheth us according to our sins, and the sins of our fathers, that he do not according as we have said this day. Then there was a great weeping with one consent in the midst of the assembly, and they cried unto the Most High Power with a loud voice. Then said Ozias to them, Brethren, be of good courage. Let us yet endure 5 days, in which space the Most High our power may turn his mercy toward us, for he will not forsake us utterly.
So what happened here is that some of the people came to the chief priest of the city, he was like in control, and saying, look, before we die, our children die, our ribs die for thirst, just give in. Let's sell out.
That sounds like in the wilderness too with Moses.
Just like that. Just they brought us out here to die. Okay? When you see that they crying just for water, like I said, why didn't you pray for some rain?
Talking out the side of your neck.
You know, you done sold out that quick.
Right.
That quick.
Yeah.
And the elders say, well, just give us 5 more days to wait on the Lord. And if the Lord don't show up in 5 days, then we'll go ahead.
Oh,
now you put a time limit on the Most High.
But not only that, but you're thinking about 5 more days. You can imagine the murmuring
already.
That when they hear another week have to go by with no water, another week, you're still saying 5 days. It was no different if he had said let another 5 million days go by.
Right.
They didn't want another 5 minutes to go by without water.
They was thirsty then. They wanted water then.
Cool, refreshing.
You know what I'm saying? And they up on top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying?
Right, probably with some filtered water.
Yeah.
It was a 2017 water.
All right, let's keep going.
Verse 31. And if these days pass, and there come no help unto us, I will do according to your word.
See, now they got scared of the people, but you're supposed to be the ruler and the leader.
Right.
But you got scared now that your people coming against you. Shoot, I can't let this happen to me. I'm going to bow down to the will of the people. Just like all these people out here protesting about nothing and getting nothing accomplished. What are they protesting and hollering and screaming about?
Yeah.
Nothing. Go ahead.
Verse 32. And he dispersed the people, everyone to their own charge. And they went into the walls and towers of their city, and sent the women and children into their houses. And they were there, and they were very low brought in the city.
Now, right here where we starting at, y'all. This, I've been waiting all this time to get to this point. So now, y'all really finna see how the story unfolds. This is where it's getting good. I don't have nothing but a couple of more things just to mention as we read, but this is supposed to be non-stop all the way through. And we're gonna get through this and y'all gonna see. Y'all ready?
Chapter 8 of the book of Judith. Now at that time Judith heard thereof, which was the daughter of Merari, the son of Ox, the son of Joseph, the son of Oziel, son of Alicia, son of Anias, son of Gideon, son of Raphael, son of Akito. Is that right? Akito, son of Eliab, the son of Eli, the son of Nathaniel, the son of Samiel, the son of Salalasiel, the son of Israel.
So you see she
the
was
son
a
of
direct.
black.
Right.
See, that ain't gonna never be in there.
Son of black.
We ain't a color of nobody. It's nations or sons that he all named right here. None of it ended in son of black. So we gotta be careful when we talk about black because we could be included in a bunch of different nations.
You see she was a direct descendant. Straight from the 12.
Yeah.
Straight from the lineage all the way up to Israel. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I counted it's like 14 generations. 14 men that leads her back to Israel from where she come from. All right, go ahead. Yep.
And Manasseh was her husband, of her tribe and kindred, who died in the barley harvest. For as he stood overseeing them that bound sheaves in the field, the heat came upon his head, and he fell on his bed, and died in the city of Bethulia. And they buried him with his fathers in the field between Dothaim and Balamon. So Judith was a widow in her house 3 years and 4 months. And she made her a tent upon the top of her house, and put on sackcloth upon her loins, and wore her widow's apparel. And she fasted all the days of her widowhood, save the eves of the Sabbaths, and the Sabbaths, and the eves of the new moon, and the new moons, and the feasts, and the solemn days of the house of Israel.
She got it all.
Or other than the feast days, she was fasting.
Yes, sir.
Dedicated, devoted to her Elohim. Go ahead.
So let me just say this. So this clears up, like Isaiah 58 when it talks about, if you do this fasting thing, but not under your own pleasure. So even though she was fasting about this cause for this, she didn't let her personal issue or whatever override what's commanded that we have to do. Not only that, but how we have to treat feasts and Sabbath days. She wasn't going to break that, because every man would have been doing that. I'm on the Sabbath, I'm doing this, and then it gets more personal than it does about a cause. So she made sure that all the people kept going straight, even though we in bondage. And this lets us know again, in bondage like this, we have to keep what's appointed to us. We can't get past our appointed days.
Right.
Verse 7. She was also of a goodly countenance, and very beautiful to behold. And her husband Manasseh had left her gold and silver, and manservants, and maidservants, and cattle, and lands, and she remained upon them.
Right.
And there was none that gave her an ill word, for she feared Yah greatly. Now when she heard the evil words of the people against the governor, that they fainted for lack of water. For Judith had heard all the words of Ozias, all the words that Ozias had spoken unto them, and that he had sworn to deliver the city unto the Assyrians after 5 days.
Can you imagine hearing that? This nigga done lost his mind.
Right.
He gonna do what? This is, you have to put yourself in that frame of mind of hers to say this. What? He said what? He gonna do what?
So it's showing you what? These men was losing faith, right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, but he must have been new back. He was a leader of the city. Yeah, but you making negotiations to hand the nation over in 5 days.
Oh, Lord, 5 days.
Right? Like the Most High on your time clock. So the sister get word like, what did he say?
Yeah.
I can't believe he just said that.
Yeah.
Right? So faith is watching bowl with the sheep rule.
That's right.
The men of the time noodle back.
Boy.
Noodle back. What you mean we negotiate and handing the nation over? For what? Oh, because death on the table. That's what it is. Over some water. People needs get to knock. Right? Just like doing our sister Harriet Tubman.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of men was weak because of the slavery and everything went through. That sister stood up. Feel me? Had to make some crucial decisions. The woman with the 7 sons.
Yes, sir.
And the apocryphal.
Yep.
You feel me? You told me she had to straight, like hold down her emotional side to get done what she knew had to get done.
Yep.
She stirred up her woman's stomach with a manly conscience or something like that.
Right.
Had to get done what had to get done. So she get wind this brother supposed to be the leader, making negotiations to hand the nation over.
Because the people crying out.
Because the people crying out, and bottom line is you done lost faith.
Yeah.
And you supposed to be a priest or something. You done lost faith.
That's the thing. There's a lot of times, like what he just said, a lot of times you'll talk to a preacher and you done heard him say something wrong, and the first thing you check him on is that you supposed to be over the people. You teaching your people wrong.
Yeah.
Just like that, you got to call them to the carpet on that.
Right.
You hear something said wrong with a person that's over some other people who is their flock and that's their responsibility, that blood is on their hands.
Yeah.
For their whole congregation. Read on.
Verse 7.
Now you in 9.
Then she sent her waiting woman that had the government of all things that she had, to call Ozias and Cabris and Carmus, the ancients of the city. And they came unto her, and she said unto them, Hear me now, O ye governors of the inhabitants of Bethulia, for your words that ye have spoken before the people this day are not right.
There it is.
Touching this oath which ye have made and pronounced between Yah and you, and have promised to deliver the city to our enemies, unless within these days the Lord turn to help you. And go ahead now.
She was talking all soft and even
Yes. Inside voice.
inside voice, and well, sister, don't be raising your voice around her.
Yeah.
What's the poet, the lady that just died, Angela, or Amy, whatever. Yeah, Maya Angelou. You think she was sounding like Maya Angelou, speaking smooth words like she speaks?
No.
You had to deliver what it was. And you know they had to cut the spirit out of these brothers. Like,
Yeah.
Feel me? Like, look, when you know you're doing wrong, you don't need nobody to remind you. Your conscience convicts you.
Right.
So the fact that he was about willing to sell the nation out under certain terms, he knew what he was doing.
Yes, sir.
When he was making the agreement.
Yes, it did.
Now the sister like, oh no, y'all didn't trip. What is y'all doing? Now you know she couldn't have came. You know, brother, just come on, let's read. Y'all bros done tripped.
Right.
Y'all know what y'all just did? Y'all just sold the nation out trying to make terms. Let's read, my brother.
And now, who are ye that ye have tempted Yah this day, and stand instead of Yah among the children of men?
Yeah.
And now try the Lord Almighty, but ye have never known anything.
Yeah, read it right now. Read it.
And now try the Lord Almighty, but ye shall never know anything, for ye cannot find the depth of the heart of man, neither can ye perceive the things that he thinketh. Then how can ye search out Yah, that hath made all these things, and know his mind or comprehend his purpose? Nay, my brother, provoke not the Lord our God to anger.
Flat out. Yep. Straight
Don't
shot.
be striking no deals.
Yep.
For if he will not help us within these 5 days, he has power to defend us when he will, even every day, or to destroy us before our enemies.
Like, look, we in the hands of the Lord regardless.
Right.
Whether we live or die.
Yes, sir.
My boss said the same thing.
Yes.
Whether we live or die, we are the Lord's.
Do not bind the counsels of the Lord our God, for God is not as man, that he may be threatened. Neither is he as the Son of Man, that he should be wavering.
God ain't like y'all.
Right.
You can be threatened. You can waver in your belief, not the Lord. Come on, man.
Therefore, let us wait for salvation of him,
Beautiful.
and call upon him to help us, and he will hear our voice, if it please him.
See, she keeps it all in mind, just like Achior was speaking to Holofernes, how you had to be careful in your speech. She kept her speech about him all correctly. All correctly. It's what his will is. You just do your job, but let his will be done.
Yes, sir.
And don't be scared. There you go.
We're negotiating with the devil.
Yeah.
Read on.
For there arose none in our age, neither is there any now in these days, neither tribe, nor family, nor people, nor city among us, which worship gods made with hands, as had been aforetime. For the which cause our fathers were given to the sword, and for a spoil, and had a great fall before our enemies.
What she's telling him is that this is our high time. We ain't tripping right now. We are not tripping right now. Ain't no false gods among us. Nowhere. So this is our high time of obedience.
And the Lord will protect us.
That's right. And they quickly forgot that. Keep reading.
But we know none other God. Therefore we trust that he will not despise us, nor any of our nation. For if we be taken so, all Judea shall lie waste, and our sanctuary shall be spoiled, and he will require the profanation thereof at our mouth, and the slaughter of our brethren, and the captivity of our country, and the desolation of our inheritance will he turn upon our heads among the Gentiles. Wheresoever we shall be in bondage, and we shall be an offense and a reproach to all them that possess us. For our servitude shall not be directed to favor, but the Lord our God shall turn into dishonor. Now therefore, O brother, let us show an example to our brothers, because their hearts depend upon us. And the sanctuary and the house and the altar rest upon us. Moreover, let us give thanks to the Lord our power, which trieth us, even as he did our father.
So she's telling them just because we're going through a hard time, like I was saying earlier, we look to our forefathers for an example to see what they went through and how they made it through by the grace of the Most High.
Yes, sir.
It ain't nothing changed. So it's for you, like she said, let us be an example to our people. The example of being strong and y'all being weak. If they can't look to you as I'm going to say it like earthly leader, as the high priest they were, if they can't look to you for strength, you not set an example to them. That's why the people faith is failing.
Everybody's scared.
Everybody's scared because y'all too soft. Read on.
Remember what things he did to Abraham, and how he tried Isaac, and what happened to Jacob in Mesopotamia of Syria, when he kept the sheep of Laban, his mother's brother.
I want to name him, brother.
Yes, sir. For he had not tried us in the fire, as he did them.
See? See there? Keep going.
For the examination of their hearts, neither hath he taken vengeance on us, but the Lord doth scourge them that come near unto him, to admonish them. Then said Uzziah to her, all that thou hast spoken with a good heart, and there is none that may gainsay thy word. For this is not the first day wherein thy wisdom is manifested, but from the beginning of thy days all the people have known thy understanding, because the disposition of thine heart is good.
So she's that woman that everybody knows that give good advice, that stay strong. She's like that old woman in the neighborhood that has been there as long as you've known, that everybody give respect to, that say, you know, that's Miss Jones. She gonna feed you, she gonna take care of you, she gonna give you some wisdom, she gonna tell you what's right. He said, this ain't the first time you done been come up in our amongst us and people look for you because of your wisdom.
That's right.
So you done done it before and we see it, you ain't said nothing wrong now. But just remind of us how soft we is.
Right.
Let's go.
Verse 30. But the people were very thirsty, and compelled us to do unto them as we have spoken, and to bring an oath upon ourselves, which we will not break.
Blaming the people.
Look at that. Therefore now pray thou for us, because thou art a godly woman.
The priest.
The chief priest telling her to pray.
Right. They're the chief priest. And giving her problems, but that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
Pray for us. Go ahead. Right.
And the Lord will send us rain to fill our cisterns, and we shall faint no more. Then said Judith unto them, hear me, and I will do a thing, which shall go throughout all generations to the children of our nation. Ye shall stand this night in the gate, and I will go forth with my waiting woman. And within the days that ye have promised to deliver the city to our enemies, the Lord will visit Israel by mine hand.
Real quick. Now, you see what she just said in the verse 32? See, that's why we're reading about her today. She said, what I'm going to do is going to go forth throughout all of our generations. And it was for us to be reminded of what our people have done.
Yes, sir.
We read this today. From when this took place all those years ago, we are still reading about her.
Yes, sir. Over 2,000 years.
That's right.
Way over 2,000 years.
This was supposed to have been done. Read on.
But inquire not ye of mine act, for I will not declare it unto you till the things be finished that I do. Then said Uzziah and the princes unto her, go in peace, and the Lord Yah be before thee, to take vengeance on our enemies. So they returned from the tent and went to their war.
So you could just see that priest going, whew.
Yeah.
I'm glad she's gone, and she gonna take care of this. Yeah. She gonna handle this business.
Yeah. And y'all, the same thing happened with Moses when he went up to get the law. They forced Aaron. They said, we don't know where Moses went. He done left us already to die. Yep. Make us a god like they got in Egypt. Yep. And there you go. Give me y'all earrings. Give me your nose jewels. Give me all the bracelets and necklaces. And I'll make that god of Molech for y'all. And when he come back down, Aaron tried to say the same thing. They scared me. Them niggas was going crazy.
Yep.
If you'd have heard what they were saying while you was going, you ain't heard none of this Moses.
Yeah, but did we ever...
They threatened my life.
Right. See, that's what I was saying. Did we ever read that they threatened his life? No. But what did he tell his brother? She. Right. This was all over me.
But Moses said the same thing when the angel came to him and told him, look, the Lord wants you to deliver. He like, them people, you want me to tell them you heard, I heard from you. Them people.
Right.
No, they ain't gonna believe you. They know about these people, right? Right. The Lord knows about these people.
See, that was almost like questioning the Lord.
Right.
You know that there's nothing that's above him, but you might have missed something.
Right. There's people.
These
crazy. And they ain't trying to get out of it. He said, look what, you know I stutter now. I've been stuttering since they put that coat on my hand. They're like, don't worry about it. Your brother is fluent in Egyptology. He's fluent in it. He'll be your mouthpiece. And he was steady trying to get out of it, but he had to go when the Lord commanded you to go. You got to go, you know. And it wasn't so much as Moses was scared, it was the fear that he was. The people that you're asking me to is crazy. You know, y'all don't have a world around there, a newspaper called the world where y'all at. This people is crazy. So, in like manner, it's the same thing when you deal with this group. You have to get to the point of where you say, look, this the deal. I'm going to do it in the days of Judith. And all she doing is taking the same deal that they have and show them how to trust in the Lord. We ain't giving up nothing in 5 days. We going to war. Right. Now, y'all want to be soft, so we get our Judith. Well, we had our Judith and Harriet too. That's right. It's going to be another you get closer because the thing is to get all the men locked down. Right. Run all the scared ones off. So you ain't going to have nobody left but a Judith to rally the banner back behind the men again, because it's the only thing that they're going to let get close to them. It's the woman of the people of Israel. They ain't let no man get close.
Look at kind of skeezy.
You know, so
right in the bush.
Right, so it's going to repeat itself, so we get to have our Judith in our lifetime that we can see versus Harriet Tubman 200 years, because she kept a pistol with her.
Judith,
she would blow a man's brains out. She never had no problem with women turning back. It was men. I want to go back. I'm scared. She said, you can go back, but it's going to be in a pine box. Now what you going to do? Okay. Talking about okay. Because she knew what she was up against. You go, and she made, they said, what, 178 trips or something to that number. I'm talking about extended and came back. Right, back and forth. And had a bounty on her head. Yeah, and not only this, but the nation respect that so much, because every nation respects tough individuals and fight for your own. So they say, we'll put her on our money. Right. We're going to put her on our money. That's how we feel about y'all champion. But we keep on wanting Al Sharpton and right. Jesse Patrick, Mouth Jackson, and the Sinister Fire. Yeah, the sinister. That's what we want. Go ahead, Gabe. We got one. She would have freed more slaves if they knew they were slaves. Yeah.
I freed so many, I just freed way more than they don't do. Now, how do you get those back with chicken, cotton, and don't know you? Right. That lets you know where we at as a people. Yeah. But today, the nigga will tell you, I'm not a slave. Yeah. Well, I'm free. Well, they were saying that too. Back in 1850 something. Yeah. And just so happened to be both brothers locked up today that was picking cotton in 1850. Yeah. Say that again. Both brothers locked up today that was picking cotton in the cotton fields in 1850. Look at that. Look it up. You can't say you ain't no slavery. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So we keep rolling.
And shout out more recently, like why the Negro was giving their seat up on the bus. Shout out to Rosa Parks and stuff. Yes, sir. You know? I hear where sometimes heresy where this camp they talk bad about the women. Shout out to Rosa Parks, why Negro about my side, the Gentiles, hey Negro, give me your seat.
Going through his hood on
need a transfer?
I got a pocket full of them.
You need a hall pay.
You need a hall pay transfer, sir.
You got me bumped up.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I read the book of Judith, in chapter 9, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Then Judith fell upon her face and put ashes upon her head and uncovered the sackcloth wherewith she was clothed. And about the time that the incense of that evening was offered in Jerusalem, in the house of the Most High, Judith cried with a loud voice and said, O Yahweh, power of my father Simeon.
Father who?
Simeon. to whom thou gavest a sword to take vengeance of the stranger, who loosened the girdle of a maid to defile her, and discovered the thigh to her shame, and polluted her virginity to her reproach.
Who they talking about, y'all?
Dinah, Simeon and Levi. She was sent from the tribe of Simeon.
Oh.
That's spirit.
Judith is from the tribe of
So
Simeon.
that's why the spirit like that on there.
And you see here, just real quick, when y'all pray personally, you see what she did?
Yes.
She said, look,
Yes.
from that power most high that you are and showing him, I remember the things that you did. So what she's doing in her prayer, she's calling upon it. So that's an example for y'all when y'all say y'all prayers. The God of the forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the destroyer of our enemies who led us out of Egypt. See, this is an example how you come to your Father. Let him know that you know what he has done for you. Right. That's from them times all the way to today.
So what you're saying is that's what's called calling on the name of the Lord.
That's it.
Not how you pronounce it.
Right. On
That's
his works.
calling on the name of the Lord.
On his
I'm
works.
talking about whatever your name is. You who delivered them.
Right.
That was in this same situation. I'm talking about you.
Just like the Messiah said, you condemn me for my works, but the works that I do are the works of the Father. So if I'm doing righteous works in his name, what are you condemning me for?
Right.
Same thing.
And
so she's reminding him, you are this God. You are the God that I'm praying to.
Yeah.
That did these things. She's naming these things off before what? She gets to hers.
And y'all just, let's say, move on. The difference in her and her brother, this same warrior type spirit that they had on them. The commandment, the agreement that they had made was to sell us out. The agreement Levi and Simeon made that made them lose the birthright was, we're going to let them get circumcised, and then we're going to get them while their legs are gapped open.
Right.
So, but they didn't take that as a covenant of the Lord that allows nations to join. That was one part of the covenant that their men had to do. If another nation came amongst us and became strangers among us, they had to be circumcised. So we couldn't bring a covenant of the Lord that allows a nation in and then slaughter. So that was the difference between what Simeon and Levi did and Judah, but the Lord had already given them the okay to slaughter Shechem for some more things that their father had done to Isaac and stuff. So that the hit was already in. It was just the fact that Satan lured them in because they were looking at our daddy, because Jacob was saying there's a whole lot of them. And I done got a little old, I can't swing the sword like I used to. That's what they made their decision. They like, our father, you know, he's not the same warrior, but he ain't supposed to be.
Right.
He's 70, 80 years old at this time. That's what y'all for. But y'all still have to take his wisdom and understand, look, there's a bad thing that happened. You know, he raped our sister, but this is how we're going to bring this into the fold. But they like, no, nobody touch our sister like this. Nobody. I don't care who they is, but the deal is, you cannot play with the Most High's covenant like it's just an afterthought. You know, and that's where our problems come in at, because we'll take the covenant and we'll just toss it aside like it don't really have a point.
Right.
My thought process right now rules. It's the way I'm feeling now.
Right.
Yeah, I understand that. I know what the Lord said over there, but he know my heart.
Right. Right.
Yeah, one of those.
One of those, so we can't get into that. And this is the difference between Judah and what Simeon did. When y'all read the testament of the 12 patriarchs and Levi and Simeon, they'll tell you this is how we went off. An angel came and told us, y'all gonna get it done, but you have to wait, and you're gonna have to get it this way. And they're like, no, we want vengeance right now. Right now, and we're gonna do it. And can you imagine they bust up in them doors and every man leg up like this, spread apart because he just got circumcised? I'm talking about middle-aged men. You are going to be extremely sore right there. And your legs got up and they come in with a sword. What you gonna do but one good holler? Ow!
I'm gonna get last night.
You can't run. Where you gonna run to? So y'all, and if y'all ever seen that movie, what is Esau and Jacob? They got out there. Y'all see how they got the circumcision line going? They actually show it.
Man, look.
What was it called? Esau and Jacob?
Esau and Jacob.
Esau
Yes, it puts you right there, like you
It showed
in the moment,
Man, it's like 100 people lined up to get
They
circumcised.
show the circumcision, how they stretch it, boom, chop it next. It's like assembly line. Next!
Just chop it the whole time. Not
Yeah.
We have to find that for you because it was circulating around, man.
It's on, it's on YouTube.
That's where it is, on YouTube.
Esau and Jacob, just type it in, you see it.
And it's going to be a movie that shows you that's made in that time, showing that time, man, boy. Woo.
And y'all see it because it's going to show Esau as an albino.
Yeah. Jacob smoked,
Yeah.
you know, had gold slippers.
Yeah.
Had a top camel.
Didn't you, boy?
And a fly's tip.
Esau was dwelling among rocks in the
It's
caves.
crazy, man.
So y'all, it's so good, you know, I mean, as far as how they depicting it, but just that scene right there, so you get an understanding of the Lord's covenant. When something has to be done, you will pay for that destruction, just like Judith is finna say this destruction. Y'all have made a covenant with the enemy to bind us with our covenant. You know, so y'all, we got to be careful of that, y'all. You got to say, no, I die first.
Yep.
I die first.
Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Chapter 9, verse 2 again from the top. O Yahweh, power of my father Simeon, to whom thou gavest a sword to take vengeance of the stranger, who loosened the girdle of a maid to defile her, and discovered the thigh to her shame, and polluted her virginity to her reproach. For thou saidst, it shall not be so, and yet they did so. Wherefore thou gavest their rulers to be slain, so that they dyed their bed in blood, being deceived, and smotest the servants with their lords, and the lords upon their thrones, and has given their wives for prey, and their daughters to be captives, and all their spoils to be divided among thy dear children.
This is a woman's prayer to God.
Yes,
right.
right.
You realize that, right?
Yep.
You talking about blood and people being slain?
Yeah.
You think that this is a right? God's not going to hear that prayer.
Yeah.
No? Or your prayer today about, I hope I get more back on the taxes.
Yeah.
Right.
You heard me? You heard me? I was independent.
You'll be able to slip in some earned income.
That's what you praying about. She like, look, Lord, I'm about to call on thee, Lord, that did all this and all this is on this record.
That's
You see how you pray? We don't pray butterflies, flowers, candy.
Yeah.
You know, right? Sunny days every day. Pray for my coworkers.
Yeah.
When it's on the line, the sister had to recall the works and acts of the God of this Bible.
Right.
His name. Right. Calling on His name, and that's for everybody. That's for everybody. When you're back against the wall, you really need to be calling on the Most High.
Right.
And then what you do is you recall the work that He done did.
Right.
Or you didn't read about that in the Bible.
Right.
You feel me?
Say, this is the God that I serve.
Yeah, He that split the Red Sea and drowned Pharaoh's army in it.
Right.
That's the
You
God.
can't say that today, man. That's violent, brother.
Right. Y'all, what they do it.
Yeah.
Right. This
When they call him, they devil.
was like the plague of the Bible. It's almost similar to Noah's flood. They'll say those things. They recall back to the God of this Bible because it ain't been no another one that none of the world can call on. You ain't never heard them say, and they called upon Allah to deliver. And they called upon Buddha as in the days of Uzziah. Where y'all read that?
All that spelling.
And Buddha moved with swiftness as a well, y'all read that as a sumo wrestler going. No, listen.
He tightened up his dirty drawing.
No, all y'all gonna get is Buddha just like on that commercial. He doing that skate on them skates. Oh, he's about to do the baby bird.
Verse 4, which were moved with thy zeal, and abhorred the pollution of their blood, and called upon thee for aid. O Yah, O my Elohim, hear me also, a widow, for thou hast wrought not only those things, but also the things which fell out before, and which ensued after. Thou hast thought upon the things which are now, and which are to come. Yet, what things thou didst determine were ready at hand, and said, Lo, we are here, for all thy ways are prepared, and thy judgments are in thy foreknowledge. For behold, the Assyrians are multiplied in their power. They are exalted with horse and man. They glory in the strength of their footmen. They trust in shield and spear and bow and sling, and know not that thou art Yahweh that breakest the battle. The Most High is thy name.
Don't forget, Assyria is a world empire similar to where you're living at now. Okay, so interchange Assyria for America. See if this is still your prayer. Come on, Hebrew.
Verse 8. Throw down their strength in thy power, and bring down their force in thy wrath. For they have purposed to defile thy sanctuary, and to pollute the tabernacle where thy glorious name rested, and to cast down with sword the horn of thy altar. Behold their pride, and send thy wrath upon their heads. Give into mine hand, which am a widow, the power that I have conceived. Smite by the deceit of my lips. By the deceit of my lips, the servant with the prince.
What is she asking the Most High to do for her? Smite with the deceit of whose lips? Huh?
You see, so she's telling him right up front, because I had this noted right here, he promised that what I'm going to do, Most High, I'm going to have to lie. Or, I won't say lie, but I'm going to have to say things that are untrue.
Give me the game I need to seduce.
Right, because she's going to have to, just like Achior, when he stood before Holofernes and the things that he had to say out of respect for, because his life was on the line, she's going to have to do something like that as well. You know, so she's going to have to give a little honor here and there to lure them in.
Don't forget she's Judith.
Right.
You feel me? She asked the Lord, look, be with me. Be with my hand and be with my mouth.
That's right.
You feel me? Same thing happened in the book of Judges chapter 4.
Yes, sir.
Brother, Israel was warring, and then the cat stumbled into the tent of a beautiful woman.
Right.
Woman, bring me water. Bring me water. She went and warmed him up some milk. Here you go.
Yeah.
He started drinking and get sleepy. Oh, you sleepy, boo-boo? Lay your head right here. He go, okay, sucking his thumb. Hey, you know, lay on her lap.
Yeah.
And she like, you just don't know.
Yeah.
By my hand, you going down right now.
He'll do that.
You see what I'm saying? She drove a tent stake that long through his head, through his temple, left him. All because the men were too scared. And the boy, the prophetess, said, oh, because you're scared, the woman gonna get the glory.
Yeah.
Lord word gotta come to pass. You feel me? Same exact thing. And the Lord gave her that sense of, he wanted water. She was like, nah, I'm gonna give you some milk. And he go, oh, lay him down right here. Boo boo, you cool. Right here. Right? Was she being deceptive? Was she lying? Man, we at war. What you think this is?
Right.
There's strategy to war. What you finna tell the enemy their inner secrets and all that?
Right, it was a key word.
This is war. This is war we're in.
Yes, sir.
Strategy.
Don't forget, in less than 5 days, they finna take the nation down. All right, well, she asked the Lord to be with her mouth. And she can say whatever she need to say, so he can what? Let his guards down.
Yeah.
All right? This real. It's not no fairy tale.
Right. And y'all, there's the difference in Miriam and when she was cursed as a leper when she challenged Moses. We got war. We got to go through all of these Canaanites. We got to go to these Herbites to get the promised land. She's fussing at Moses about him marrying.
Well, there ain't no time for this right now.
We ain't got no time for this right now. We got to get through these cities right here to get to the promised land, and we'll deal with that at that time.
There you go.
Now, what you think God only talked to you? He don't talk to me and Aaron. Aaron was like, I ain't really saying that. That's your big sister. That's your big sister. And the Lord had to check her. He like, look, you tripping. But look, if you hadn't just been a daughter that got pregnant in her father's house, he would spit in her face and put her out 7 days. So we got to lock you out for 7 days. And then he said, I'm going to give you a reminder too, and turn her into a leper. He said 7 days you'll come back. You'll get your mind straight though. So we don't hear her, so to speak, fat mouthing out of turn. She was still prophesying because she was a prophetess, but it wasn't out of line.
That's right.
It wasn't no more personal prophecy. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 10 again. Smite by the deceit of my lips the servant with the prince, and the prince with the servant.
Beautiful.
Break down their stateliness by the hand of a woman.
Well, look at y'all sisters highlight that.
That's right.
Highlight that. They doing y'all purpose. That's right. By the hand of a woman. Come on, Hebrew.
Verse 11. For thy power standeth not in multitude,
That's right.
nor thy might in strong men. For thou art a power of the afflicted, and helper of the oppressed.
That's right.
An upholder of the weak, a protector of the forlorn, a savior of them that are without hope.
Break it down.
Most High against the bullies.
That's right.
He bullied the bullies.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Come on, Hebrew.
I pray thee, O Yahweh of my father, and power of the inheritance of Israel,
Come on.
Lord of the heavens and earth, creator of the waters, king of every creature. Hear thou my prayer.
This is what Nebuchadnezzar is saying that he is.
Right.
See that?
Right.
Yeah.
He's trying to get the world to bow down to him as who she just stated our God is. Keep on.
Verse 13. And make my speech and deceit to be their wound and strife.
Beautiful.
Who have purposed cruel things against thy covenant, and thy hallowed house, and against the top of Sion, and against the house of the possession of thy children.
All right, now it's something very important. She said here she acknowledged her wrongdoing, so she's not covering up sin and saying, and don't count this as a lie.
Right.
She said my deceit, my guile in this.
Right.
The slick tongue I have, now you count this as going forward, delivering Israel. I got to do some woman work here.
Right. I got some things I'm going to have to say. And see, this is not asking for forgiveness ahead of time. I mean, what way she said it, this is what it's like. But what I'm saying is that we know that we can't say, Lord, I'm finna go rob this liquor store, be with me.
Of course not.
And forgive me. You know what I'm saying? See, this is what I'm saying. She's not saying this up front. You know, and then I'll pray about it later. No. See, so she put it all on the line right up front with him. I might have to do some things, say some things, you know, to get this done. So she's coming clean. But it's not like she's going in there deceptively in an evil way.
Yeah.
So, okay, now, let's go.
Verse 14. And make every nation and tribe to acknowledge that thou art the Elohim of all power and might, and that there is none other that protected the people of Israel but thou.
Beautiful. Chapter 10, verse 1.
Yes, sir.
Judith, good.
No, I said, let's look.
Judith 10 and 1. Now after she had ceased to cry to the God of Israel, and had made an end of all these words, she rose where she had fallen down and called her maid, and went down to the house in the which she abode in the Shabbat days and in her feast days, and pulled off the sackcloth which she had on, and put off the garments of her widowhood, and washed her body all over with water, and anointed herself with precious ointment, and braided the hair of her head, and put on a tire upon it.
The tire, she wrapped her head. So just like you sisters out there now with your heads wrapped, they say she braided her hair. So whoever have we ever braided ever in history, braided their own hair, braided their hair.
Yeah.
She braided it. Not only did she braid it, but she put a wrap on afterwards.
Yes, sir.
So the same sisters that y'all look at yourselves in the mirror, you looking at a mirror image of your sister Judith.
Yeah. And notice she can wash herself, put on her smell good.
Yeah.
Oh, we
good
finna get
clothes.
to the Isaiah chapter 3. It's going to be this description of what we finna read right now. This is Isaiah chapter 3 all day long. Read on.
And braided the hair of her head, and put on a tire upon it, and put on her garments of gladness.
Gladness.
wherewith she was clad during the life of Manasseh, her husband.
This ain't that little red dress though, but you see what I'm saying? She
Right.
put on some good clothes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
When she was with her husband.
That's right.
Verse 4, and she took sandals upon her feet, and put about her bracelets and her chains and her rings and her earrings and all her ornaments, and decked herself bravely to allure the eyes of all men that should see her.
So you see here, what she's putting on is the same description in Isaiah chapter 3, and it lists them all down just like it did. So this is how our women dress. So the same women we see today with rings on their fingers and about 5,000 gold necklaces around their neck and 100 earrings on their ears and all that.
Don't forget she's fine and she smells good too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So you see, she's all that you wear.
Y'all know what she is. How's she gonna get that close to dude, man? Come on.
There it is.
Exactly.
There it is.
She telling you like, look, I'm gonna put my going out clothes on.
Right.
But
Right.
not you know, she was the
Out to
street
catch.
girl. But she putting her stuff on and she know that look good.
Yep.
Right.
It's gonna be on tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
He gonna like this.
You don't see it too.
Yeah.
So basically, by your description tonight, like the Genesis of where we got, I'll drink her bath water.
No.
He's drinking back.
No, we ain't seen nothing about that.
Yeah.
All right, let's even be like that.
All right, go. Verse 5. The book of Judith, chapter 10, verse 5. Then she gave her maid a bottle of wine. Got the drink.
Yeah.
And a cruse of oil. Yeah. And filled a bag with parched corn and lumps of figs and with fine bread. So she folded all these things together and laid them upon her. Thus they went forth to the gate of the city of Bethulia, and found standing there Zion. and the ancients of the city, Cabris and Cornus.
They sound like twins, don't they?
Yeah. Is at the gate. No faith. Verse 7. And when they saw her, that her countenance was altered, and her apparel was changed, they wondered at her beauty very greatly, and said unto her, the God of our fathers, give thee favor and accomplish.
The God of our fathers. And accomplish thine enterprise. Go ahead.
The God of our fathers, give thee favor and accomplish thine enterprises to the glory of the children of Israel and to the exaltation of Jerusalem. Then they worshiped the Most High. And she said unto them, command the gates of the city to be opened unto me, that I may go forth to accomplish the things whereof ye have spoken with me. So they commanded the young men to open unto her, as she had spoken. And when they had done so, Judith went out, she and her maid with her. And the men of the city looked after her until she was going down the mountain, until she had passed the valley and could see her no more. Thus they went straight forth in the valley, and the first watch of the Assyrians met her, and took her, and asked her, what people art thou? And whence comest thou? And whither goest thou? And she said, I am a woman of the Hebrews. I am a woman of the Hebrews, and am fled from them, for they shall be given you to be consumed. And I am coming before Hophanes, the chief captain of your army, to declare words of truth. And I will show him a way whereby he shall go and win all the hill country, without losing the body or life of any one of his men. Now when the men heard her words and beheld her countenance, they wondered greatly at her beauty, and said unto her, thou hast saved thy life, and that thou hast hasted to come down to the presence of our Lord. Now therefore come to his tent, and some of us shall conduct thee until they have delivered thee to his hands. And when thou standest before him, be not afraid in thine heart, but show unto him according to thy word, and he will entreat thee well. Then they chose out of them 100 men to accompany her and her maid. They brought her to the tent of Hophanes.
100.
Then was there a concourse throughout all the camp, for her coming was noised among the tents, and they came about her as she stood without the tent of Hophanes, till they told him of her.
You one woman with your gal.
Yeah.
Just 2 of y'all.
2 of y'all and all these men around.
Right.
Oogling at you.
Right. And noise into the ground.
Right. So you know the whispering went throughout all the camp. Man, you see that gal?
I mean, fellas, y'all know how they
And they came running.
Yeah.
They all came running.
A beautiful woman walked through, we all kind of get quiet, you know, looking.
Whispering.
Yeah.
Who she with?
Yeah.
You say what? Oh, yeah. Yeah, she kind of, everybody looking like, oh my God.
Let's go.
Verse, 19. Yeah, 19. And they wondered at her beauty and admired the children of Israel because of her.
So they saying, this what they got in Israel? So this is just this one. How many more of them are back there? And can I give you one?
Yeah.
Read on.
And everyone said to his neighbor, who will despise this people to have among them such women? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Surely it is not good that one man of them be left, who being let go might deceive the whole earth. And they that lay near Hophanes went out, and all his servants, and they brought her into the tent. Now Hophanes rested upon his bed under a canopy, which was woven with purple and gold and emeralds and precious stones. So they showed him of her, and he came out before his tent with silver lamps going before him.
Now they had war.
Yeah.
Even though they hadn't fought yet, but this cat is living in the lap of luxury out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
His whole tent, so that's his crib. If he was back at home, he would be, that's his tent, right?
Yeah.
But he's out in the wilderness living in the lap of luxury.
Yes, sir.
Gold and jewels and fine linens all around him.
Right.
So let's show you how this cat is, but this is what they was doing.
And look, rested under his bed under a canopy. So
Right.
that ain't new. IKEA ain't started. I mean, it was IKEA in the 19.
He got fine linens above his head and draping down. Y'all know, like when y'all see the movies, people in Africa, they got them mosquito tents and all that.
Yeah.
He got fine linens coming off his bed.
But you know that's us, because when we go to Tabernacles, we got blowing furniture. Everybody should be decked out.
There you go. All right, let's keep going.
Verse 23. And when Judith was come before him and his servants, they all marveled at the beauty of her countenance. And she fell down upon her face and did reverence unto him. And his servants took her up.
Now y'all see that the whole gist of her story is when you read in the New Testament, we talk about women and Timothy, how they should not braid their hair up. And that's not to attract other men. What she was doing in this sense, these were the clothes that she had, but she knew that I was a beautiful woman when I'm with my husband, but never did she go outside and you hear a bad report that she disrespected her husband.
Right.
On any of this, her name is known in the streets like the virtuous woman.
Right.
Men know her because of her husband.
Right.
And she was a widow for 3.5 years. So
Right.
she said, this ain't about me. I don't dress up like this to go hunt, to have men hunt me. I'm on a mission. But I know how I used to dress. I'm not going to do anything different to change the look for y'all. I'm going to put on the clothes I used to wear. Back in the day when I was with my husband, they weren't disrespectful. They ain't disrespectful now. But just like y'all looked at me, it's a different purpose now. I'm coming to this. So if a woman dressed up there and trap a man, is it to save Israel or you want to go on their mission?
Right.
That's the difference.
Man.
What is you thinking? You manhunting. So that's the difference in what these two was doing. She didn't dress up to go grab men. She dressed up because all of the nation was online. Men, women, and children. And everything we own, we got 5 days left before we wipe off this earth. You know, so it's night and day, y'all, that we get that understanding. So we don't want y'all at all to think you ain't never supposed to wear no makeup. You ain't supposed to dress up, because all a woman have to do is point right here. Said she had on this with her husband. Right. You know, but the difference is the instruction that book is giving on not to dress up to make your husband jealous. You can't do that. You can't dress up like that to where you got, this can't be the bachelorette contest where all the men are just looking at you and gawking around. See, they would have never done that with Vanessa was around. You know, because she knew it. She wasn't flaunting it for him. She dressed up for her man.
That's right.
And that's how it explains.
And you see how she
dressed up for my husband.
These were clothes she put on from when he was alive, and she ain't worn since then. She stayed in her widowhood.
Yeah.
Keep reading.
Chapter 11. Then said Hophanes unto her, Woman, be of good comfort. Fear not in thine heart, for I never heard anyone that is willing to serve Nebuchadnezzar, the king of all the earth. Now therefore, if thy people that dwelleth in the mountain had not set light by me, I would not have lifted up my spear against them. But they have done these things to themselves. But now tell me, wherefore thou art fled from them, and thou art come unto us, for thou art come for a safeguard. Be of good comfort, thou shalt live this night and hereafter, for none shall hurt thee, but entreat thee well, as they do the servants of the king Nebuchadnezzar, my lord. Then Judith said unto him, Receive the words of thy servant, and suffer thine handmaid to speak in thine presence, and I will declare no lie to my lord this night. And if thou wilt follow the words of thine handmaid, Yahweh will bring the thing perfectly to pass by thee, and my Lord shall not fail of his purpose. As Nebuchadnezzar the king of all the earth liveth, and as the power liveth, who has sent thee for the upholding of every living thing. For not only men shall serve by thee, but also the beasts of the field, and the cattle, and the fowls of the air shall live by thy power under Nebuchadnezzar and all his house.
So you see there's a part of soup right there. You know, she talks back to them in a language that they want to hear.
Yeah.
So she's saying that even the animals will serve him if y'all do this right. Go ahead.
For we have heard of thy wisdom and thy policy, and it is reported in all the earth that thou only art excellent in all the kingdom, and mighty in knowledge, and wonderful in feast of wars. Now as concerning the matter which Achior did speak in the council, we have heard his words. For the men of Bethulia saved him, and he declared unto them all that he had spoken unto thee.
So she let him know that, yeah, we got him, and this is what he told us, and what happened to him, and what he said is true.
That's right.
Keep reading.
Therefore, O Lord and Governor, reject not his words.
Respect.
I'm sorry, I didn't say reject.
See, look up here. It say respect.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, those are just typos, y'all.
Reject not his words, but lay it up in thine heart, for it is true. For our nation shall not be punished, neither can the sword prevail against them, except they sin against their God. And now that my Lord be not defeated and frustrate of his purpose, even death is now fallen upon them, and their sin has overtaken them, wherewith they will provoke their God to anger. Whensoever they shall do that which is not fit to be done. For their victuals fail them, and all their water is scant, and they have determined to lay hands upon their cattle, and purpose to consume all those things that Yahweh has forbidden them to eat by his laws. And are resolved to spend the first fruits of the corn and the tenths of the wine and oil, which they had sanctified and reserved for the priests that served in Jerusalem before the face of our God. The things which, the which things is not lawful for any of the people so much as to touch with their hands.
And that she's talking about would be 1 Samuel 21:4-5 about David eating showbread. Yes, sir. So these things she said they were not even lawful for to eat. So she's breaking down the whole truth of everything and our history and our ways and the way we serve our Lord and the things that we do. She's like, we got food that's not lawful to eat. That she's breaking that off too. So she's breaking down that whole history to him, making sure he get understanding. Keep reading.
Verse 14. For they have sent some to Jerusalem, because they also that dwell there have done the like, to bring them a license from the Senate. Now when they shall bring them word, they will forthwith do it, and they shall be given thee to be destroyed the same day. Wherefore I thine handmaid, knowing all this, am fled from their presence, and Yahweh has sent me to work things with thee, whereat all the earth shall be astonished, and whosoever shall hear it. For thy servant is religious, and serve the God of heaven day and night. Now therefore, my Lord, I will remain with thee, and thy servant will go out by night into the valley, and I will pray unto Yahweh, and he will tell me when they have committed their sins.
What she did right here is letting him know, I'm going to be with y'all a few days, but because of the God that I serve religiously, there's things that I have to do. So she's setting them up. So she's saying that at nighttime, I'm going to have to go out and say my prayers.
Right.
And then I'll be back. So they are already knowing when the evening comes, she's going to have to leave, and we're going to let her go. She's going to say her prayers, and she's going to come back. So she's setting them up. So keep going and see what she's doing.
And y'all, this ain't nothing that's uncommon. Every great leader or was of a kingdom was took down by a spy. They get in there, Hitler, all of them. All of the so-called great kings of Rome, all took down. Mark Antony by Cleopatra, and so forth and so on. You know, because that's the only way they let their guards down.
Even with Esther, she was the woman that was brought amongst the king. That's right. Same thing we got coming up shortly. We're gonna be reading about another sister who went in with another king, and we prevailed because of the Most High. That's right. Yeah. Somebody else that wanted to destroy us. Keep reading.
Verse 18. And I will come and show it unto thee. Then thou shalt go forth with all thine army, and there shall be none of them that shall resist thee. And I will lead thee through the midst of Judea until thou come before Jerusalem. And I will set thy throne in the midst thereof, and thou shalt drive them as sheep.
Roll up.
And I will set thy throne in the midst thereof, and thou shalt drive them as sheep that have no shepherd, and a dog shall not as much as open his mouth at thee. For these things were told me according to my foreknowledge, and they were declared unto me, and I am sent to tell thee. Then her words pleased Holofernes, all thy servants and all his servants, and they marveled at her wisdom and said, there is not such a woman from one end of the earth to the other, both for beauty of face and wisdom of words.
Well, you have to think about the women they had in their camp. You ain't seen nothing like this?
Verse 22. Likewise, Holofernes said unto her, Yahweh hath done well to send thee before the people, that strength might be in our hands, and destruction upon them that lightly regard my Lord. And now thou art both beautiful in thy countenance and witty in thy words. Surely, if thou do as thou hast spoken, thy God shall be my God.
Well, look at him.
Now he want to change his God in the way he prays.
See that? Boy, that quick.
He laid it on the line.
And he's just willing to do that just to be next to her.
Right.
He laid it on the line.
Just like the chief priest, those eyes in them was ready to sell out in them 5 days for some water. He ready to turn over his whole belief to get next to her. Hey, I'll even serve your God.
Boy.
He don't even know what he asked him to do.
Boy.
Let's go. Is that yours?
Thy God shall be my God, and thou shalt dwell in the house of King Nebuchadnezzar, and shall be removed through the whole earth.
Through the whole earth. So, yeah. Going right to chapter 12. Then he commanded to bring her in where his plate was set, and bade that they should prepare for her of his own meats, and that she should drink of his own wine. And Judith said, I will not eat thereof.
See there? Now why? Let the class answer. Why is she eating thereof?
Because of God.
Nope. Is they eat everything else. And we got our dietary laws. So you know they got a whole hog with an apple in his mouth.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget, she bought her own food.
That's right. Let's go.
I will not eat thereof, lest there be an offense. But provision shall be made for me of the things that I have brought. Then Holofernes said unto her, if thy provision should fail, how should we give thee the life? For there be none with us of thy nation.
So see there? So he's saying, you know, they're giving her utmost respect of who she is. And whatever she say, go. So they say, if you run out of food, what we gonna do for you?
Yes, sir.
There ain't none of your people amongst us.
Right.
So the things that we see, that the things that you do is totally different from the things that we do.
We don't follow your dietary laws.
Exactly.
Right.
So how do we keep you? See, they catering to her. How do we keep you happy?
Must have been a fine system.
There we go. I had a whole bunch of things I could have said after that, but keep rolling.
Yeah. Then said Judith unto him, as thy soul liveth, my Lord, thine handmaid shall not spend those things that I have. Before the Lord worked by mine hand the things that he had determined. Then the servants of Holofernes brought her into the tent, and she slept till midnight. And she arose when it was toward the morning watch, and sent to Holofernes, saying, let my Lord now command that thy handmaid may go forth unto prayer. Then Holofernes commanded his guards that they should not stay her. Thus she abode in the camp 3 days, and went out in the night into the valley of Bethulia, and washed herself in a fountain of water by the camp. And when she came out, she besought the Lord God of Israel to direct her way, to raise it up of the children of her people.
That's right. Never lost sight of what was going on.
Yes, sir. So she came in clean and remained in the tent until she did eat her meat at evening. And in the 4th day, Holofernes made a feast to his own servants only, and called none of the officers to the bank. Then said he to Bagoas, the eunuch, who had charge over all that he had, go down and persuade this Hebrew woman, which is with thee, that she come unto us and eat and drink with us. For lo, it will be a shame for our person if we shall let such a woman go, not having had her company. For if we draw her not unto us, she will laugh us to stone.
Now, what does she mean by that? I want the audience to answer that question. What does she mean by that? About them laughing, her laughing them to scorn.
Because she's going to with her God ways that turn it off and not theirs.
Nope. Anybody else? Real quick.
She would laugh at her.
But why would she laugh at her? But blame for what reason? What they're saying about her is that if we don't try to holler at her, she gonna think we all
simps.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta make some type of move. Because they looking at her, it's like, damn, I'm this fine, and none of these cats trying to holler at me. She said that's what they're saying. If we don't put this out there like that, that's what she's gonna think of them. That's what they think that she would think. So they're saying, we got to make some type of move at her, because if we don't, she's going to think we soft.
She going to put this all on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right.
No banquet set up.
Something serious, they ain't did nothing for me.
Right.
So that's what she's saying. If they don't do this, they say that she'll laugh them to scorn. As fine as I am, and then none of these cats try to holler at me.
Right.
That's what that is. Read on.
Then went Bagoas from the presence of Holofernes, and came to her, and he said, let not this fair damsel fear to come to my lord, and to be honored in this presence with drink wine, and be merry with us, and be made this day as one of the daughters of the Assyrians, which served in the house of Nebuchadnezzar. Then said Judith unto him, who am I now, that I should gainsay my Lord? Surely whatsoever pleases him, I will do speedily, and it should be my joy unto the day of my death. So she arose and decked herself with apparel, and all her women's attire, and her maid went and laid soft skins on the ground for her over against Holofernes, which she had received of Bagoas for her daily use, that she might sit and eat upon them.
So they gave her some skins to sit down on. You know, like when we read...
Soft skins.
Yeah, that, like...
Animal skin rug. Like in front of the fireplace.
I guess sit on down. You see this right here,
Yeah.
What is this?
Right.
It's that grizzly bear. I got that grizzly bear. It's that stuff from Egypt right there. Sit on down.
How they feel against you flesh?
That's, again, that sounds like us in tabernacle, carpet in the tent.
You don't like it.
Verse 16. Now when Judith came in and sat down, Holofernes, his heart was ravished with her, and his mind was moved, and he desired greatly her company, for he waited a time to deceive her from the day that he had seen her.
See that? So that's what it was when he laid eyes on her. See, I'm getting it. Right. You know what I'm saying? And who I am, this is going to be no problem. But I'm not going to come directly at her. I'm going to be subtle. You know, I'm going to make her think, yeah, you fine and all that, but, you know, I'm not going to immediately let you see that I'm in love with you like that. You know how?
Playing right to her hand.
Yeah.
She at the point to where you got to come invite me.
Yeah.
Feel me? He invited her right into his tent.
Set it out.
So he already convinced to drink the bath water, just ain't admitted it.
Yeah. Verse 17. Then said Holofernes unto her, drink now, and be merry with us. So Judith said, I will drink now, my Lord, because my life is magnified in me this day more than all the days since I was born.
Sure, I'll drink.
Then she took and ate, and drank before him what her maid had prepared. And Hophanes took great delight in her, and drank much more wine than he had drunk at any time in one day since he was born.
He got old. Y'all know what that's called? Y'all know what that's called? It's called anticipation.
Yeah.
While he was waiting, you know how it is when you either had a date or you was going somewhere or whatever, you were waiting on somebody, you sat there and you just drank and drank and drank and end up sometimes drinking yourself out of it. Drinking because you fell asleep. Right. You were so errant. I know this, they call that gin in that bumpy face. Hey, I'm just gonna keep sipping on this. I'm gonna keep sipping because I know this is where I'm gonna get my strength.
Now, they ain't
and it puts you right out.
Right.
I ain't no monkey face getting drunk.
Right. So, no, but look, y'all, that was top shelf there. But y'all think about this. From the time he was at a legal age to drink, for up until that day, he drank more in that one day than all of them years from the time he started drinking, if that was at 21, and he's 40 now. From 21 to 40, he drank more in that one night than all them years combined.
Fellas, y'all see what beauty you do too?
Yeah.
Ravish.
Yeah.
Say that to the young fellas.
Old fellas too.
Yeah.
It's old men that don't Yeah, but beauty got him over drinking.
Yeah.
You feel me? So now his sense of judgment about to be off. You feel me? He's actually anticipating getting intimate with her.
Yeah.
That's what he's drinking for like that.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's why I usually turn bumpy face. Come on, man.
Chapter 13. Now when the evening was come, his servants made haste to depart, and Bagoas shut his tent without, and dismissed the waiters from the presence of the Lord, of his Lord. And they went to their beds, for they were all weary, because the feast had been long. And Judith was left alone in the tent, and Holofernes lying along upon his bed, for he was filled with wine.
Stretched out. Stretched out.
See, that's what I'm saying. Before he even got close to thinking about what he was finna do, he got passed out because he drank so much in anticipation of what he thought was going to happen.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's over. I got it. Everybody gone, and that whole time he been tarrying along at the wine.
Right.
Been passed out.
Liquid Viagra.
There you go.
If that's a word,
it's a word.
And it passed him out instead of him. He thought that was going to get him ready for championship.
Yeah, number 6.
Where he be patting on his back. Yeah, I got her, y'all. She mine. She gonna be in this tent. Ain't no me, y'all looking. This is what she decides.
Y'all all relieved of your duties for the night.
Verse 3. Now Judith had commanded her maid to stand without her bedchamber, and to wait for her coming forth, as she did daily. For she said she would go forth to her prayers, and she spake to Bagoas according to the same purpose. So all went forth, and none was left in the bedchamber, neither little nor great. Then Judith, standing by his bed, said in her heart, O Lord God of all power, look at this present upon the works of mine hands for the exaltation of Jerusalem.
Look at this present. You done delivered it right into my lap. Right. Look what that fell into my lap.
Verse 5. For now is the time to help thine inheritance, and to execute mine enterprises to the destruction of the enemies which are risen against us. Then she came to the pillar of the bed, which was at Holofernes' head, and took down his falchion from thence, and approached to his bed, and took hold of the hair of his head, and said, Strengthen me, O Yahweh, Elohim of Israel, this day. And she smote twice upon his neck with all her might, and she took away his head from him.
That's 4 chops. 2 chops.
Yeah.
2 chops, she took his head off.
Yeah.
ISIS take more than that.
and tumbled his body down from the bed, and pulled down the canopy from the pillars. And anon after she went forth.
That anon means straightway. That's in the Greek. It's 21:17. That means straightway, like Bernie Mac would say, immediately.
And gave Holofernes his head to her maid.
Okay.
It wasn't none of that. It wasn't none of that. It wasn't none of that. Like you said, hold that.
Yeah, I mean, put that on up.
And she put it in her bag of meat. So they twain went together according to their custom unto prayer. And when they passed the camp, they compassed the valley, and went up the mountain of Bethulia, and came to the gates thereof.
Now, see what she had did initially by setting the stage of, in the evening, I have to go pray. So when she was leaving after the mission was done, nobody was none the wiser because she was already known to go out and say her prayers. Right? They just thought she was going to go out there and say her prayer, come on back in.
Yeah.
So she just walked right on up out of there smooth.
Perfect setup. Smooth.
With his head.
That's right. And they was done the wise. They did not have a clue what had happened. Now,
Then said Judith afar off to the watchman at the gate, open now the gate. Yah, even our Elohim, is with us, to show his power yet in Jerusalem, and his forces against the enemy, as he hath even done this day.
Now these are our gates that she's talking to. Now she's back in the crib and telling them ahead of time, open them gates up now.
I got his head.
That's right.
Verse 12. Now when the men of her city heard her voice, they made haste to go down to the gate of their city, and they called the elders of the city. And then they ran all together, both small and great, for it was strange unto them that she was come. So they opened the gate and received them, and made a fire for a light, and stood round about them. Then she said to them with a loud voice, praise Yah.
That's right.
Praise Yahweh. I say, for he hath not taken away his mercy from the house of Israel, but hath destroyed our enemies by mine hands this night.
What I'm talking about.
So she took the head out of the bag and showed it, and said unto them, behold, the head of Holofernes, the chief captain of the army of Assur, and behold, the canopy wherein he did lie in his drunkenness, and the Lord hath smitten him by the hand of a woman.
So now remember what I said earlier, y'all remember this cat and all the smack that he was talking. And this is the one who was blowing and talking all that smack, and now she got him by the hand. By the hand of a woman.
Yeah, really gonna be some laughing and scorn now.
Yeah, keep reading.
Verse 16. As the Most High liveth, who hath kept me in my way that I went, my countenance hath deceived him to his destruction. And yet hath he not committed sin with me, to defile and shame you.
So she let him know, all that I did, yep, he ain't never been in here, discovered these thighs.
Yeah, the righteous.
Yeah.
Verse 17. Then all the people were wonderfully astonished, and bowed themselves, and worshiped Yah, and said with one accord, Blessed be thou, O our Elohim, which has this day brought to naught the enemies of thy people. Then said Ozias unto her, O daughter, blessed art thou of the Most High God above all the women upon the earth, and blessed be the Lord God, which hath created the heavens and the earth, which hath directed thee to the cutting off of the head of the chief of our enemies.
It say, bless the Lord for that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not today. Look at the Lord is not with her. She was violent.
Right.
Verse 19, for this thy confidence shall not depart from the heart of men, which remember the power of Yahweh forever. And Yah turn these things to thee for a perpetual praise, to visit thee in good things, because thou hast not spared thy life for the affliction of our nation, but hast revenged our ruin, walking a straight way before our Elohim. And all the people said, so be it, so be it.
Chapter 14.
Yeah, and very important at 19, she said, this why I did was not so confident shall not depart from man, the power of God from man. So here once again, she's saying, I didn't do this to become y'all queen over Israel. I did this to build y'all confidence back up. Y'all supposed to be up here. Y'all should have had the head in the bag.
Exactly.
Like David did.
Right.
That's the way y'all should have been. And y'all just, I just want to hit this man because just verse 7 of that same 13 is what Samson ended up saying in Judges 16:28. After the Lord gave him strength again, but he failed to Delilah the same way. She got him comfortable and he laid his head in her lap, and he was supposed to be a deliverer at that time, and he ended up getting took. He didn't get his head took off, but he got his lock cut and he got his eyes put out. So now you jump to Judges 16 in verse 28. He's asking the same thing from Judith, but his end is coming after I done tripped. So Lord, just give me the power to do what you originally sent me here to do. I'm going to die with it. So that was his punishment. He knew, I got to die with this. I could have escaped this and been with my forefathers and died at a good old age, but I'm going to do what you say, even if this means my life has to go. That's the total difference between him and Judith in this point. He ended up getting took like she took Holophar's head, but he just didn't get his head took. They made sport out of it. Put his eyes out and had him walking around fighting animals and different things. You know, they just made sport. And he asked the Lord, help me back this one time so I can do what you asked me to do. So y'all, he remembered at that point, but you hate for you to have to be brought down blind, crippling, crazy, and they made sport after you. Right. And you could have just did this at the beginning. Right. Because that's what he was born for, right, to be a champion of Israel. Right. And he failed to Delilah, who was a whore, and he married her.
Straight skis.
So y'all, it's not about strength, it's about the righteousness that the Holy Spirit will dwell with you. But if the Holy Spirit in you and you disobedient, disobedience go up that much more. Tenfold.
Right. Like giving them over to their own lust. Yeah. That if this is what you want, I'm going to pile it up on you. Go ahead.
The book of Judith, chapter 14 and 1. Then said Judith unto them, hear me now, my brethren, and take this head and hang it upon the highest place of your walls. And so soon as the morning shall appear, and the sun shall come forth upon the earth, take ye every one his weapons, and go forth every valiant man out of the city, and set ye a captain over them, as though ye would go down into the field toward the watch of the Assyrians. But go not down. Then they shall take their armor, and shall go into their camp, and raise up the captains of the army of Assur, and they shall run to the tent of Hophanes, but shall not find him. Then fear shall fall upon them, and they shall flee before your face.
See, she's telling this to the people, her people. Go do this right now, and this is what's going to happen. So she's laying it all out for them. What to expect out of this. Right. Keep reading.
So ye and all that inhabit the coast of Israel shall pursue them and overthrow them as they go. But before ye do these things, call me Achior the Ammonite, that he may see and know him that despised the house of Israel.
Y'all remember him? Huh? Y'all remember him? He's saying that this my boy here. All right, Achior coming back into the picture. Keep reading. I'm sorry.
And that sent him to us as it were to his death. Then they called Achior out of the house of Ozias, And when he was come and saw the head of Hophanes in a man's hand in the assembly of the people, he fell down on his face, and his spirit failed. But when they had recovered him, he fell at Judith's feet and reverenced her, and said, Blessed art thou in all the tabernacle of Judah, and in all nations, which hearing thy name shall be astonished. Now therefore tell me all the things that thou hast done in these days. Then Judith declared unto him in the midst of the people all that she had done, from the day that she went forth unto that hour she spake unto them. And when she had left off speaking, the people shouted with a loud voice, and made a joyful noise in their city.
Verse 10.
And when Achior had seen all that the God of Israel had done,
yes, he did.
He believed in the Most High greatly.
That's right.
He believed in the Most High greatly, and circumcised the flesh of his foreskin, and was joined to the house of Israel until this day.
See what he did? An outsider. So anybody that tell you that anybody outside the 12 tribes can't get this, there's your example right there. He saw it. An outsider saw the God of Israel and what he did, and say, how can I be down?
I'm down. Right.
I'm rolling with y'all.
That's right. Not only this, but we see now that covenant of circumcision that her fathers tripped and lost in Genesis 49. This was the way it kind of should have been done. You know, because the order was already, the hit was already on for them. But you see now, she's almost like covering up the crime of Simeon and Levi with this form of how things went down. Because she let the Lord's vengeance go forth, not from her heart. That you read in Genesis 49 when it said Levi and Simeon, they slew a man out of their anger. See, it wasn't strategy, it was anger, it was the hot head. It was like the boy on The Godfather who went. Sonny. Yeah. Hot-head Sonny, and they was waiting on him. See, that's out of anger. So she didn't do this, so she just showing you, yeah, vengeance don't go leave from my father's house. We still get down like that. But we do it from a righteous perspective that God will respect. And we don't lose no birthrights. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 11. And as soon as the morning arose, they hanged the head of Hophanes upon the wall. And every man took his weapons, and they went forth by bands into the straits of the mountain. But when the Assyrians saw them, they sent to their leaders, which came to their captains and tribunes, and to every one of their rulers. So they came to Hophanes' tent and said to him that had the charge of all his things, Waken now, our Lord, for the slaves have been bold to come down against us to battle.
See, look, hold on. Right. When they saw the Israelites come, they were scared, so scared that they didn't react. They went running to their leader to tell us what to do. I can't believe it. They coming down. They done, you know, and they done got bold, and they gonna come on down here and they ready to fight. But now you see that they scared. Right. They need leadership. Go ahead.
That they may be utterly destroyed. Then went in Bagoas and knocked at the door of the tent, for he thought that he had slept with Judith. But because none answered, he opened it and went into the bedchamber and found him cast upon the floor dead, and his head was taken from him. Therefore he cried with a loud voice, with weeping and sighing and a mighty cry, and rent his garments.
Rent his garments.
After he went into the tent where Judith lodged, and when he found her not, he leaped out to the people and cried, These slaves have dealt treacherously. One woman of the Hebrews. These slaves have dealt treacherously. One woman of the Hebrews have brought shame upon the house of King Nebuchadnezzar.
He didn't say on the house of Potiphar's, did he? He said on the house of the king. Now who?
For behold, Hophanes lieth upon the ground without a head. When the captains of the Assyrians' army heard these words, they rent their coats, and their minds were wonderfully troubled. And there was a cry and a very great noise throughout the camp.
Yes, sir. And y'all, and it's the same thing. It's like, you know, every karate movie you see, like when they say, you killed my teacher. You know, that's the problem. You know, they kill the teachers. That's what we need to be with, you know.
Right. We had two more, y'all, two more chapters. 15 and 16, we up.
Chapter 15. And when they that were in the tents heard, they were astonished at the thing that was done, and fear and trembling fell upon them, so that there was no man that durst abide in the sight of his neighbor. But rushing out all together, they fled into every way of the plain and of the hill country.
These are warriors. These are warriors. Remember, there was 5,000 of them down at the bottom of the hill. Gordon walked.
Hey, look, you know, a couple of them started off running the hill. The crowd got bigger, man. They just running so anywhere they go. Sing a safe spot is in. Because look, they think it's something supernatural that happened.
Right.
She gone, he dead on the floor, and his egg gone.
Right.
Something is going on around her. It's something supernatural going on. Like you would think, you know, wait a minute, the devil in here, what's going on?
Right.
What's happening here? Oh, but this is a Hebrew woman. They gotta do this kind of work. Did it to Egypt. Let's get the hell out of here.
Right. Which way you gonna run? I don't want to run over you.
Right. Yep, you take out the leader, you see all the followers be dismayed.
All of them.
Right.
All the mighty men.
You ain't got to fight everybody. Hit the top.
Like I said, 5,000 of them down at the foot of the hill. She walked right past. Yeah. Strolled right on past them.
Smelling good.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Innocent, you know. I'm going to leave her alone, man. That's all.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Yeah. Who is that?
But she there to do the will of the Lord. Right? And handle that business, boy. That's serious right there. That lets you know beauty can have you. And then he was drunk, drank more wine than he ever drank before.
She went in smooth, came out smooth.
Right. Right. And see, she didn't have to be, when they said who was that over there, she didn't have to be that thought over there.
Right.
Because he didn't get nothing.
Right. He got killed.
Yeah.
He thought he couldn't get something. He was full.
Right.
He got.
But if y'all notice, that's a strategy. Even when we was young, they used to tell us, if it's a group gonna jump you, the one who talking the most, hit him in the mouth.
Yeah.
And the rest of them go back.
Right. They got the lead. We'll see who bowed it after that. Y'all learning all this in the Bible?
Yeah.
Bible study. Y'all learning about all this stuff.
Verse 3. They also had camped in the mountains round about Bethulia, fled away.
They was the closest, you know what I'm saying? Right.
Then the children of Israel, every one that was a warrior among them, rushed out upon them. Then sent Ozias to Beth-o-Maston and to Bebai and Chobiah and Kola and all the coast of Israel, such as should tell the things that were done, and that all should rush forth upon their enemies to destroy them. Now when the children of Israel heard it, they all fled upon them, they all fell upon them with one consent, and slew them into Kobiah. Likewise also they that were from that came from Jerusalem and from all the hill country, for men had told them what things were done in the camp of their enemies, and they that were in Gilead and in Galilee chased them with a great slaughter until they were past Damascus and the borders thereof.
I'll get run up out of town, man.
That's called getting hauled down. Getting hauled down, man.
And the verse 6, and the residue that dwelt at Bethulia fell upon the camp of Asur and spoiled them, and were greatly enriched.
They robbed
all these Jews.
Give me that. Go ahead, give me that.
And the children of Israel that returned from the slaughter had that which remained, and the villages of the cities that were in the mountains and in the plain got many spoils, for the multitude was very great.
Spoils are the rewards of war.
That's right.
I know that, right? You know.
And like I was saying, you going out to war, you taking everything with you. That's like you going out of town, but you taking all your precious things that you own with you on a trip. You know what I'm saying? They out there in the wilderness with gold and silver, and jewels and linens and stuff at war. We don't.
Then Jehoiakim, the high priest, and the ancients of the children of Israel that dwelt in Jerusalem came to behold the good things that Yahweh had shown to Israel, and to see Judith and salute her. And when they came unto her, they blessed her with one accord, and said unto her, Thou art the exaltation of Jerusalem. Thou art the great glory of Israel. Thou art the great rejoicing of our nation. Thou hast done all these things. Thou hast done all these things by thine hand. Thou hast done much good to Israel, and Yahweh is pleased therewith. Blessed be thou of the Almighty Lord forevermore. And all the people said, So be it.
So be it.
And the people spoiled the camp the space of 30 days. And they gave unto Judith Hophanes his tents, and all his plate, and beds, and vessels, and all his stuff.
All his stuff.
And stuff is.
Mandela effect.
Yeah. All his stuff.
The Mandela effect.
Stuff.
And she took it and laid it upon her mule, and made ready her carts, and laid them thereon. Then all the women of Israel ran together to see her, and blessed her, and made a dance among them for her.
Dancing righteously.
Right. Do you think they were doing this?
Twerking, right.
For that dance. You think that was a dance? You know, like we see on TV or do a dance that we know how to do, our women dance. Keep reading.
Still the yoga moving in, bro.
I'm saying, what is that?
Go ahead.
And she took branches in her hand, and gave also to the women that were with her. And they put a garland of olive upon her, and her maid that was with her. And she went before all the people in the dance, leading all the women. And all the men of Israel followed in their armor, with garlands and with songs in their mouths.
Yeah.
You at Dan, chapter 16?
I think this is the song. If you read this right, I think this is the song that she sang.
Hey, now look, that's usually the case though. We are musical people, the most musically inclined people on the planet. After destruction, we always throw a feast and sing.
Yeah.
We thank the Most High. We, like when we came up out of Egypt, we thank the Most High for drowning the army of Pharaoh in that Red Sea. Miriam grabbed a tambourine. Blessed be the name. Blessed be the name. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Or what she singing, you know, real talk. You read her lyrics, you like, dang, that was a song. She got one person in the field, straight song. Thank you, Lord, for destroying our enemies. Remember, our back was against the wall, and what they did to our sons, now they're feeding us the alligators. Right? Remember, our back was being gunned down in these streets every day. Remember that? And then the Most High delivered us. Of course, we don't sing.
Yes, sir.
Of course.
Chapter 16, verse 1. Then Judith began to sing his thanksgiving. Then Judith began to sing this thanksgiving in all Israel.
Sing it.
And all the people sang after this song of praise. I ain't gonna try. Then Judith said, Begin unto my God with timbrels. Sing unto my Lord with cymbals. Tune unto him a new song. Exalt him and call upon his name. For God breaketh the battles. For among the camps in the midst of the people he had delivered me out of the hands of them that persecute me. Ashur came out of the mountains from the north. He came with 10,000 of his army. The multitude whereof stopped the torrents. And the horsemen have covered the hills.
Scroll up.
I'm sure. I'm listening to the story.
Yeah, I'm at verse 5. He bragged that he would burn up my borders and kill my young men with the sword and dash the sucking children against the ground and made mine infants as a prey and my virgins as a spoil. But the Almighty Yahweh had disappointed them by the hand of a woman. Right. For the mighty one did not fall by the young men, neither did the sons of the Titans smite him, nor high giants set upon him. But Judith, the daughter of Moriah, weakened him with the beauty of her countenance.
And he wasn't white.
For she put off the garment of her widowhood for the exaltation of those that were oppressed in Israel, and anointed her face with ointment, and bound her hair in attire, and took a linen garment to deceive him. Her sandal ravished his eyes. Her beauty took his mind prisoner, and the falchion passed through his neck. The Persians quaked at her boldness, and the Medes were daunted at her hardiness. Then my afflicted shouted for joy, and my weak ones cried aloud. But they were astonished. These lifted up their voices, but they were overthrown. The sons of the damsels have pierced them through, and wounded them as fugitives' children. They perished by the battle of the Lord. I will sing unto the Lord a new song. O Lord, thou art great and glorious, wonderful is thy strength and invincible.
Go back and read.
Let all the creatures serve thee, for thou spakest, and they were made. Thou didst send forth thy spirit, and it created them. And there is none that can resist thy voice. For the mountains shall be moved from their foundations with the water. The rocks shall melt as wax at thy presence. Yet thou art merciful to them that fear thee. For all sacrifice is too little for a sweet savor unto thee. And all the fat is not sufficient for thy burnt offerings. But he that feareth the Lord is great at all times. Woe to the nations that rise up against my kingdom.
That's right.
The Lord Almighty will take vengeance of them in the day of judgment, and putting fire and worms in their flesh. And they shall feel them and weep forever. So as soon as they entered into Jerusalem, they worshiped the Lord. And as soon as the people were purified, they offered their burnt offerings and their free offerings and their gifts. Judith also dedicated all the stuff of Holofernes, which the people had given her, and gave the canopy, which she had taken out of his bedchamber, for a gift unto the Lord. So the people continued feasting in Jerusalem before the sanctuary for the space of 3 months. And Judith remained with them.
Kick 3 months straight.
After this time, everyone returned to his own inheritance. And Judith went to Bethulia and remained in her own possession, and was in her time honorable in all the country. And many desired her, but none knew her all the days of her life.
Right.
After that, Manasseh, her husband, was dead and was gathered to his people. But she increased more and more in honor, and waxed old in her husband's house, being 105 years old, and made her maid free. So she died in Bethulia, and they buried her in the cave of her husband Manasseh. And the house of Israel lamented her 7 days. And before she died, she did distribute her goods to all them that were nearest of kin to Manasseh, her husband, and to them that were nearest of her kindred. And there was none that made the children of Israel any more afraid in the days of Judith, nor a long time after her death. Y'all, and we see it all that time. She never broke rank. She never exalted herself and asked for worship like Jezebel. She never did, even after that, use those clothes again to attract a new husband.
One man in, one man out.
One man in, one man out. That was her choice. That's what she wanted to do as a servant of the Lord, y'all. So, you know, even when we look at this, that was pleasant for her life. You know, she said, I want to look good how I used to look with my man when we went out. And nobody disrespected him. Y'all, so when you see her, or you read about the virtuous woman, you see that same thing when it says all about the men of the street. They know her through her husband in the street. That's how they knew her. She kept letting it be known. This about Manasseh. This about the man that I was married to.
Right. She loved it too. Hey, y'all women don't be cutting nobody's head off tonight.
Right.
You went over his glasses.
Right.
Right. It ain't a sin. Yeah, don't get crazy. Don't get simple.
Right.
See, but let that encourage everybody, including sisters. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, sister,